How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, a show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am Tim Wagner. Surprise, Tim Wagner.
That was right on the cusp. It was like, yeah, okay, bam, and we're going. Off air thing, tube on air, just like that. Okay. Let's jump right into it here. I got a headline for the fishing news.
All right.
I don't have a headline. I forgot to change it. I just looked at it and I went, nah, that ain't what we're talking about. Fuck, I forgot to write one.
I was looking at it and I was like, that is last week. I started scrolling. I was like, maybe it's someplace else.
Nope. I fucking forgot to write one. So my typical clickbait headline thingy doesn't work here. But
let's write
I got
one
this
on the fly.
Yeah. I make it up. Well, that proves right there that I workshopped these in my head for a little while before I actually write them down. Here. Oh, damn! You catch that from shore? That's what this is.
Nice.
So I got this from Fox News. That's not a political thing. Don't at me, internet. Who fucking news sources come from all over, okay?
Yeah, and it's not all fake news, especially when they talk about like fishing and stuff. That's like the little bit of real news that they do. They don't hit you with the like whatever side they're on politics. They're just like, here's fishing news, like in actual news.
Yes. Like there are other divisions to these news stations that are not like the politically divided fucking two-sided world that we're living in right now.
Wouldn't it be funny if they did start?
Example of it. Go ahead, Tim. What?
Wouldn't it be funny if they did start doing that though? They got like the cheaters from those walleye things. We're just like one side's like these fucking filthy cheaters, and then the other side is just being like, who is to even say that they put this stuff in those fish? Fish eat other fish. Like they have stupid debate.
They ate those out of the lake.
I'm on one side. Conveniently, I'm wearing blue and Josh is wearing red. Let's get into it. Oh shit.
Okay, but no, this is it's posted on Fox News. Go over to YouTube and check the link. You'll be able to see the whole article, but we're going to sum it up here. But it's from a local affiliate station, and if you don't know how those work, is they're basically independent news operations that just have the backing of a bigger financial. It's like your local Burger King is not a fucking corporate Burger King, right? Like Joe Smith fucking owns that thing down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Or like the local, the news broadcasts. Like when you go to like you get a hotel someplace and you're just like, is this the right channel? Yeah, it says Fox still, but it's all, I don't recognize these people.
Right. Yeah, also, because they're all local. And that's exactly where this came from. Fox 13 in Tampa, actually.
Have you ever, random side note, have you ever been to a area where you're like, that's the best you could do? These are who you put on TV? Yikes.
Yes, I have.
I've been to a couple and I'm just like, that guy? Yeah. That's your guy?
Right. Yes, I totally have. I'm like, that news anchor appears to not be able to read.
And open his right eye. I thought for the longest time, like, there's no chance that I could ever be one of the faces of TV on all the time. And it's just like, oh, I move a couple hours up north. I am lead anchor.
I'm lead anchor. I'm fucking Ron Burgundy up here.
I am the Ron
Burgundy. And I didn't mean by can't read. I meant like they cannot. They're doing what I'm doing with a script. They were doing like that stumble that I was just doing, trying to think of like how to explain it. They do that stumble, but they're literally fed a script, like they know what's coming
Mhm.
up. Plus they have a teleprompter and they're still like stumbling their way through the news. And I don't mean
Right.
once. I'm not talking news bloopers. I'm talking like I was waiting for the weather to come on and they were stumbling their asses through the news. I was like, what the fuck is going on
I
here?
know. I've seen it, and I've seen like, um, you got some people that are like really animated when it comes to sports. They're like,
Oh
"Yeah, he
yeah.
goes for it."
Some
Boo.
people are.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen it like where it's like written down, and they're very like monotonish, and just like he goes for two, and it's through the hoop, and then we go to this guy, and that shit, and swish, what a goal, nice. And you're like, whoa, dude, that's you got nobody else, nobody with a little bit of energy.
Right. There's a guy with a little personality somewhere, right?
Somewhere. I
No.
bet there is. I bet
You
it.
don't even have to have a degree to read the sports. No offense to
Right.
sports people. I'm
Yeah.
just saying you don't have to.
100% don't have to. It's sports and it's reading. And it's like,
Right.
if that's how you got the job, oh, he went to school for sports science. What does that mean? Like, oh, if somebody tears their ACL, he knows how to,
Right.
to tell
Right.
them, be like, don't move your leg. It's real fucked up right now.
He's like, yeah. He should have been stuck to being a doctor. He got no personality on the air. Look at this flat bastard.
Right. And instead, that's the guy. That's the guy pulling in six figures to just be like, somebody else did all this research for me. And it says here, boom, swish.
It says here. Okay. Back to the grouper. Because I didn't even say that before, but this is a grouper story. So,
ooh,
yeah. Fox 13 out of Tampa. So it's a local report from the Tampa area. Isaac Francis, a 17-year-old kid, was out night fishing on the beach with his buddies. And what's that called again, Tim? You just did it? Surf fishing?
What?
When you
surf. Yeah, surf fishing when you're from the shore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I call it shore fishing still, right? But
I cannot. He caught a grouper surf fishing at night. Terrifying. Do you know how scary that would be?
I would have been shitting my pants. Not only a grouper, but this was a Goliath grouper that was estimated to be 250 pounds.
That's a little bit
sure.
That's a small Goliath grouper, but it's huge still.
Right.
That's still a giant fish.
Surf fishing.
that's the scariest part to me. Like the predators come in shallow, just like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And in different times of year play a role, but clearly if there's a Goliath grouper in there, they're trying to feed on other fish and stuff.
Yeah.
And that Goliath grouper is flopping and making, vibrations, and the fish feel those vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
So you're calling in sharks from all around. Plus you have a 200-pound fish.
Yeah.
You're going to think you have like a massive shark or something. I'd be shitting my pants, dude. God. Oh my God. What do we do, dude?
I know, dude.
It's dark. Get in the water in the ocean at night scares the shit out of me, dude. Yeah. Once it's dark, I'm not. Even when the sun starts setting, it scares me. Like when the water's clear, I feel like I can see stuff. But when you see how fast they swim when they want to, there's nothing you could do if they want to fuck you up.
Yeah. When the thing kicks into high gear, like when you see any fish kick into high gear, even a slow fish, right? You're like, fuck.
Yeah, pretty much, because they accelerate so fast.
Yeah.
Even a slow fish is going 20 miles like that. Bam. Just that's quick.
Yeah. So they were fishing in Turtle Beach in Sarasota, Florida, just south of Tampa there. On the Gulf side. And for anybody who's not familiar with Florida, this is the Gulf side. Tampa's on the Gulf side. So they're just south of Tampa there in Turtle Beach, or in Sarasota on Turtle Beach. And they landed 250 pound. It was primarily Isaac who fished it, but they had to picture him and his buddies, and they helped out. They said that, and Isaac was super humble. I wrote this part down, that Isaac was super humble and said it was a lucky catch. And his dad, who they also interviewed, was like, "This kid's a angler, man. Like he's been doing it for a while. This was a skillful catch." And I was I bet. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say like I want to see what he was using because that's what I
Mm,
would say would make it a lucky catch or not.
mm,
Because I'm sure he's in the right area. Surf fishing seems to be like it's just kind of luck. Like you got to be in the right. There are spots where you can like this is where there's going to be bait fish and stuff like that, and you know
mm,
where the tide is and all that other stuff. But
mhm,
if you're talking about a grouper and he didn't have the gear to land a 200 pound fish,
mm, mhm.
that's luck, dude. That's just like my big muskie. That was luck.
Mm,
100% luck.
mm,
I'm an angler. I
mhm.
catch muskies when I try for muskies. But when you land a muskie without a leader on 8-pound tests using gear that you were trying to catch a walleye on,
Mm.
that's luck. And that's the same thing with him. He might have had a rod and reel and setup to fight a bigger fish. Maybe he was going for a shark or something. I don't know. Then I would say it's less luck and
Mm.
more of a skill thing because he was ready for it. But if you have gear that you're not ready to pull in a 200-pound fish and you fight it for a while and you land it, you got pretty lucky, dude, because that thing probably could have spooled you whenever he wanted to.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying there. Because I would have said I would have been like Isaac's dad here, and I would have said, "Nah, man, you landed that muskie because of skill. Like
Yeah.
you
Well,
you
it
were
takes,
well
I mean,
under equipped, and
yeah.
it took your talents to like keep it in check, or
Oh, for sure.
to like keep your emotions and everything in check to get it in."
I should preface that too. It's not skillful. It definitely takes some skill. You need to know how to not horse it in, how to try to like let it run, reel in when you can.
Mm,
It's a combination of skill and luck.
mm,
But
mm,
for that guy that big, if you were not prepared to not spool you, you got lucky. Because that's
mm,
with my muskie. The
mhm,
only reason I caught him was because I had a boat with a trolling motor. He could have
mm.
broke me off at any time, but I chased him around with the boat.
Gotcha. Right.
Yeah. So
Right. So
yeah,
still a
it's
skillful move, but I understand the luck because of
100%.
the fact that like it the fish really had the upper hand big time, and you got
Oh,
lucky that the
for
gear
sure.
held up
Yeah.
basically.
Right. But if he had the gear where he was prepared with strong enough line and everything to be able to fight back against the fish, then that's more of like he was prepared. That was skill,
Hmm.
So,
Sure,
but
I
skill
understand what
either
you're saying.
way. I'm just saying, if you weren't ready for it, you got lucky. You didn't get.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah, no, again, like I said, I think is, like you got lucky that it didn't spool, that it didn't,
Yeah.
snap the line, or like it didn't shake its head just right to try to get loose, that it kind of let
Right.
the fight happen or whatever. So,
Yep.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. So, yeah, I just saw that story and I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. So, again, the link's over on the YouTube video. If you go and check it out, we got the fishing news right there at the top. Oh, you speaking of having to go in the ocean at night and freaky, right before so I got to go back to this. In Florida, um, it's law that you have to keep the fish, a Goliath grouper specifically, right? This is
Yeah.
specific to Goliath groupers. You have to keep them in the water and you have to release them alive. And
Oh,
so, yeah, they're surf fishing. So they had to get in there with the fish to
yikes.
revive it, and
Yeah.
you can't take it out. So they were in the water taking photos with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think, I mean, I think I would probably, I'd get brave, but I'd still be nervous.
oh yeah.
The whole time, I'd just be like, even a small shark is going to take a good chunk out of your leg and you're going to get disfigured for life.
Right.
That's what
Right.
scares me.
Right.
It's not the fear of dying from one, it's that something's going to take a chunk out of my leg and I'm going to have a weird looking fucked up leg the rest of my life. And I might not have part of my calf. Like, I'm not going to be able to walk the same way I once did and all that other shit just because I waded into the water when it was dark. It's scary.
Right. Right.
It's a fear, but that I think I would, the adrenaline, and also like if a fish didn't, I think I'd feel a little bit better too if a shark didn't come while it was like during the fight.
Mm-hmm.
If there wasn't a shark there,
Mm-hmm.
right there trying to like fuck up the grouper as I'm reeling it in,
Yeah.
then I think I'd feel
what
a little
shark's
bit
fucking
better.
up a 250-pound grouper anyway? I
I
mean,
think
I'm
it's
sure
just
it
like,
happens, but it
yeah,
got to be the
I
rarest
don't,
thing in the world.
but the thing with like a shark is like it doesn't need to, um, just like how you see them like eating like dead whales
Oh,
out in the
the
water.
tear a chunk
Yeah,
off thing.
it
Yeah,
doesn't need to eat a fish whole like the fish around here. It can just grab a chunk of you and just be like, "Nah, I got a bite."
right.
You know,
Good enough.
I was hungry. That big bite of meat will hold me over for a while.
Right, and take off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good
So,
point. Good point. All right, dude. Cool. Yeah, good. Good. Let's jump into housekeeping here. And oh, little public service announcement. Don't forget to renew your license if you're in Minnesota.
that's right. It's coming
Coming
up.
up, especially when this drops.
Yep.
Don't forget. Okay, check us out on Amazon Podcasts. It looks like they're free now. Go over to Apple. You can give reviews there. The old Apple Podcast, iTunes Podcast, as they used to be called. I'm pretty sure it's just Apple Podcasts now. Go to iHeartRadio and do whatever you can do over there. Maybe they'll put us on the radio. I don't know. They own like every fucking radio station in the world now.
Right.
Spotify. You can leave comments and interact with us over there. Also, shout out to Earth Engineer over there on Shopify. Damn it. Spotify. Interacting with us over there on the Spotify. And
Nice.
don't forget that YouTube is now podcasts. YouTube.
Right.
You can find us youtube.com/@realaftv.
Mm-hmm.
And now YouTube Music app on your phone. That's where Google's going with the podcast version. So you can get the audio and the video version right there in one place on YouTube, because that's our platform where we decided to put our videos. And now Google's doing this cool thing that really hooks it up. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Patreon. We'll hit that in the middle here in between the two halves. And remember, if you're sharing this with anybody, like I hope Earth Engineering is over there on the Spotify channel.
Hell yeah.
This is every other week podcast. Remember, the big 2-hour podcast or whatever it ends up being drops every other Monday. And on our off week, we will split it up. You won't get the fun stuff like the fishing news that we just talked about. But you can, just in the YouTube video version, you can get them split up. So if somebody wants to just dabble in what we're doing, head them that way. Don't forget the contact page is working, realaf.tv/contact. Email us and we will chat with you. All right.
Yep.
Let's jump into it. Sploosh. All right, Tim. We're going to get into maps. Fishing maps.
Hell yeah.
One
One of the best tools you can have out there, people. Get you some fishing maps.
Yeah, dude. You want to go off on it for a little bit here at the beginning?
I mean, I'll just say that it's very important. And I got my start trying to figure out. So I'll say when I was younger, I did mostly sight fishing. I had a small 3-bench Lund. I've talked about it before on the show. But I just kind of went around and I was fishing the shallows for bass because that's all I knew how to do. All I knew was shallows because I didn't know what deep water was like. Fishing in the deep water was just a mystery to me. I had no idea what I was doing out there.
Sure.
I tried trolling a couple times. I caught some northerns here and there.
In that Lund?
And that was, but that was just like driving with the boat, like going as slow as I could, just like pulling something behind. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing it.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. You're just doing that scrappy, like, young kid shit you're trying to do. That was
exactly.
That was one of those little red Lunds with the, what's it called when the motor's just hanging out the back, right? You didn't have a console.
The tiller. Yeah. The tiller motor on the back. Yeah. It's on the back and you just got the little handle and you turn it. Dude, those turn on a dime. I'm out there just doing donuts in the middle, like, because all the weights in all the weights in the back, you can just turn it sideways and you're right there.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun.
Fucking sweet donuts.
But I used to always get made fun of too because I'm a bigger guy and I'd be sitting in the back and they were just like, when you go in, full bore,
Mhm.
It's like you in the back with the motor is like the only thing that's touching the water. The rest of the boat is like slightly.
That's efficient, dude.
Hell yeah, just going. But um so yeah, I would troll sometimes and I would catch some like baby northerns and stuff. And just in case anybody out there is wondering, that is not an accomplishment. If you trolled and you caught a couple of northerns with like a crankbait that you were pulling or a spoon you were pulling, I'm sorry to tell you, but you did not accomplish much. You were able to get a fish to bite on, and it's the northern, and the northerns are aggressive and they just bite shit that moves. You didn't do anything. They'll chase that thing down from random spots.
They just bite anything that moves.
They will do it. It doesn't really matter where you're at. You don't need to be close to the fish like some of the other ones. Some of you just get one that's in the right move. It will run from where it's at. It'll just be like shit and then take off, and that's it.
And it'll chase you, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll, yeah. Anyways, so the fish is not swimming right where your bait is. It will swim for a little ways. If it sees something that it wants, and it thinks it has an easy meal, it'll chase it down.
Right.
They seem to be almost like angry about it too. Like
expression when they come back up to the boat, you can just see it in the fucking
yeah. In my head, they always have personalities, and I'm sure it's nothing like it. But like as a crankbait passes by at a higher rate of speed, I almost feel like some of the northerns are just like, "Oh no, you didn't," and then it's just like it just sees it running, and it's just like, "You think you're just gonna swim fast on the surface past me?" No,
Nah, I don't play like that, motherfucker.
I'll chase you down. I'm gonna bite your ass. just
So how does this play into the maps? Like, because I mean, you said you were going shallow all the time. So how do the maps play into that?
So when I started, I had no idea like where I was really in the water. It was always like I'm looking at shore and stuff. And I knew where stuff kind of dropped off because I could see like, all right, here's a drop off, there's a drop off.
Oh, because you're sight fishing, and when you're sight fishing in clear water, that's what you're saying. So you can see
100%.
the kind of where it goes from. Well, I can see the bottom of the lake to that sinks down into deep blue.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, okay. And I feel like. And my whole childhood when I was fishing, my dad was the kind of guy that would drive he would drive from the middle of the lake and then he'd go in towards shore. And we would just drive really slowly towards shore. Mm-hmm. And when we could see the weeds, like the tippy tops of the weeds, is when we would stop and drop anchor. That's how he told me how you fish, which isn't wrong, but it's also not right. You know,
right? Yeah.
You could be in a stretch where there's not a good spot, and every once in a while we'd find a spot, and he'd be like, "That's a good spot. Remember, it's between that tree that has no leaves and that other tree over there that has like that weird Y. We got to have those two, you know." And that's all it would be. And when you get lake maps, you're not doing that whole like guessing, trying a different spot each day. You're able to see where stuff is. So when you get the lake maps, you're able to see the contours, you're able to figure it out. And then when you have like a GPS setup, you're able to see like where you are, like exactly where it starts to drop off. You know, if you're at the top of the drop off versus the middle of the drop off or the bottom of the drop off, like depth finder is necessary and it tells you a lot of stuff, but you can still fish with just the GPS. I know I unlocked a couple of spots where I saw where it dropped off deeper, and I knew where the shallow spots were. And I had caught a couple of muskies before I ever had a depth finder because I knew where the spots dropped off.
Just from reading maps.
100%.
Nice.
And so I got my start. We'll talk about like the navionics. I'm sure we'll get into it and stuff.
Yeah, we'll get into some stuff, but I'm going to go back to like physical print even here before we get too deep. What you got though?
Well, so we can get into like the physical print because that's how I would look at those kind of maps too. That was how, how I first started.
Oh, nice.
Where you would have an idea, you'd be able to look at like where it went from like deeper water to shallow water. So I knew the different shallows to the fish, the different areas that made sense to fish in shallow water. So I was still kind of dissecting which shallows would be better than other shallows. So, I wasn't completely going into it blind, just fishing every shallow water there was out there.
Oh, sure.
But what I first got was this.
Oh, damn.
This is actually made by Lowrance, and it's
Oh,
the H2O. What is it called? The Finder H2O.
okay.
So this is a GPS. This is like maps if you're like a hiker or whatever.
Oh,
So this is like 100% just a GPS that it's made for, but because it's
okay.
made by Lowrance,
Uh-huh.
you can put in the lake map chip.
And it reads it?
Uh-huh. And
Sick, dude.
yeah.
So it's literally a hiking map. Like you buy this thing like tradition, or it's marketed even, right? Towards somebody
Yeah.
who's going hiking.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz that's what this one is. That's what it was made for.
That is fucking cool.
Yeah.
So
And it's crazy.
is it
Look at this.
preloaded, or is the hiking map a chip and then you have to pop it out?
No, so the lake map is a chip that
Right.
has preloaded.
Yep.
So it takes two AA batteries, which I
Okay.
had charging for, but underneath the batteries is my Lake Master. That's
Yeah.
a lake map chip right there.
It's just an SD card, right? Loaded up.
Yep.
But you had to
And
buy it
it's
from Lowrance and
100, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, dude. I didn't have like I got this before I had a legit boat. I probably should have got a depth finder, but I got the weird thing is I got this for Christmas one year.
Okay.
My parents didn't explain to me that this could take a lake map chip. I was like, "Oh, thank you for this GPS. I hike all the time
Because
or
I'm such a
whatever."
hiker, you'd like, look at my boots. Look at these Eddie Bauer boots
Yeah,
I'm not wearing.
I returned this to Best Buy,
Oh.
looked around, found this, and I was like, "This takes a lake map chip." Bought the same thing, not knowing it was what they had got me. And then I'm like, yeah, I actually returned that and I got this one. And they're like, that's the same thing we got you. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Thank you.
That's awesome, dude. So how did you find out it took the lake map chip then?
Oh, just by doing like research. I was trying to like look into them and I don't know if I was just, I mean, I've done some stupid shit.
Oh, it wasn't like, okay, I misunderstood the story then that I assumed you returned it, then went to Best Buy, or like you turned around with that
Yeah.
Best Buy money and went and looked and then bought it the same like second.
Yeah, dude. It wasn't like the same day. I returned that and then I looked around at some stuff.
Yep. Did some research.
And then I saw that and I was like, it takes a lake map chip. Yeah. So I don't think it was like the same day, but I definitely had that Best Buy money.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up, because I'm like, what can I buy with this? And I started looking.
Yeah.
And then I seen, oh, that one's made by Lowrance. And then,
Right. And you can put the lake map chip in it. Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't catch it when my parents got it, but that's what happened.
that's what happens sometimes.
That's exactly what happened.
I love that. So let's jump back to the physical stuff unless you want
Yeah, for sure.
more. Because dude.
No, let's do it because physical maps are important too.
And they're fucking rad. Like I like maps.
Yeah.
I just like maps in general. I think maps are fucking really cool looking. But
yeah,
lake maps are so cool. Those contour lines in there, the fact that they're blue. I mean, yeah, look at a globe. It's mostly blue, but that's like a global one. When you get down into like other maps, they're shades of they're earth colors, right? There's shades of brown and there's shades of yellow and there's shades of gray or whatever it might be. But this is a blue map surrounded by those other colors. And I don't know, there's something about that contrast that's just so cool to me. I just wanted to be like, lake maps are just fucking cool looking, dude. So
they're very cool looking. They make like shirts and stuff that have like the lake map contour lines on them, and I think it makes a perfect design for like a cool shirt.
Yeah. I can totally see that. Actually, after looking at these, I started to have some ideas with lake contour maps go through my head. I was like, oh, I should fucking make that. Like I should figure out. Yeah. No, it was a lot of design stuff going through my head being graphic design.
Yeah. I'll talk to you off pod. But there was a couple ideas I shot to you, and I don't know if you understood my ideas, because like when I said them, I was like, I don't know. I see how
Okay.
my idea can be taken in like 7 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And off
Okay.
pod, I'll tell you.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. Yep.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it after to not just get hung up on design talk on maps. But anyways,
exactly.
um, okay. So I'm gonna go to the physical ones. I have a little bit of history here, but we'll see if it works its way in here and how it works its way in. But when I looked them up, when I looked up lake maps, right, I was out there trying to do my research on here for the podcast, and I basically found fishing hotspots registered trademark
Yep.
and sportsman's connection, sportsman connection.
Yes.
No S. So you're familiar with both of these? The way you say that?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, dude. These are so good. Like these physical printed materials. They look so cool.
Yeah.
I haven't held one, and I don't even know if I've ever held one, but like the fishing hotspots,
Mm-hmm.
it was cool how they were just so small and they're like laminated or they're like printed on something that's really like it says waterproof. And they're
Yeah.
just like you fold them up and bada bing bada boom.
Right.
You bring
Yeah.
it
The
with
fishing
you.
hotspots is cool because that one is literally why it's called that. It's more of a here's where you should try for this. Here's where you should try for that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
There
fishing
were
hotspots
so
is.
because it has the contour map that we're talking about still. Like it
Mm-hmm.
has your traditional lake map with the contour lines that show the depths and everything like that. But then
Yep.
there's like a lot of different information, and that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. The different information that they have, because they have more information in that other one you were talking about too, but
Mm.
it's not the same as the hotspots. The
Mm-hmm.
hotspots has a little bit more, but the hotspots have less lakes that they
Oh, right.
cover too.
Okay.
That
Okay.
other one covers like you can go get books based off of counties, and it'll
Yes.
show like all the decent sized lakes in that county.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
Uh-huh.
So, well, before we jump off the hotspots ones, when you say they have more information and like the hotspots, they like literally have hotspots on the lake. Like,
Yes, that's what I was. Yeah, I might not have like
yeah. No, go
pointed that
explain
out.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I might not have said that properly, but that's what I was meaning when I'm like, it's literally in the name. It's hot spots
Yeah.
map.
Yeah.
It's showing you the hot spots to fish,
Right.
or
And
where where they know there's hot spots. And when we
yep.
get into the lake map, don't let me forget that I can explain too that hot spots are where they're known or where they think they'll be. I can hit you with a little bit of information where I got the new hummingbird chip,
okay.
and
Yeah.
that
Because
one
we'll get
kind of
into
has the
chips
same
later.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. Once we get into chips, then we'll get into that then, because
Yeah.
that was the cool thing about hotspots. Was that they had hotspots and they had the species
Yeah.
of fish, and so they would point out. Like I didn't have one physically in my hand, but like that's how I understood it. Is like there's these species on this lake, and there's hotspots here, and these are like this is a good crappie spot, and this is a good walleye spot or whatever.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
it laid it out, but it was all on that contour map, so you still had that physical contour map to like work
Right.
with too. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool.
And it's so cool to have. So those are. That's the first thing I go to every time I'm looking at a new lake, or every time I'm even contemplating a lake. When I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about going and fishing a new lake, or when it came to ice fishing and stuff, rest in peace. The the ice fishing, I would be like, should I go to this lake or that lake? And I'm like, all right, let me take a peek at the structure. Let me take a peek
Mm-hmm.
at what these maps are talking about with the fish, and then I also pull up, this isn't maps, but then I also go to like the DNR, and I
Oh yeah,
start
we'll
seeing
get
like
into
what
that.
they've
Yep.
netted and all that other shit, where I start seeing
Oh.
numbers, and I'm just like, okay, what's it looks
Mm-hmm.
like this fish is a little bit, or that lake is a little bit hotter with the species I'm trying to go for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that's nice in those lake maps too,
Yeah.
because you can go those lake maps. Like I know of hotspots, but I don't know hotspots that well, because they're not as accessible, because they'll
Sure.
have less lakes, so I haven't
Yeah.
looked at all of those.
Yep.
But that Sportsman one I look at a lot. So okay, don't hate me. Don't don't hate me. It's a thing you can do too. I don't know if it's illegal. I don't think it's illegal. I go
We
to
got
Fleet
podcast,
Farm.
man. Throw it out there.
Yeah, I go to Fleet Farm and they have those books.
Yeah.
And I don't buy the books. I just open them up and I look at them
You
because I
just
know
read
I'm
them
good.
while you're there.
I just look
It's
at
like
the
a
like new
library.
lakes. Yeah, and I knew like I go to lakes or whatever. And sometimes I'll be like looking at them and I see a lake that I'm going to go to and it's like try the north side for like this fish. And then I take my phone and I take a picture of that tip.
Yeah, that part maybe you could have just
Yeah,
left
maybe.
out, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, I
You
have it
are
in my memory. Most of you people out there have good memories and they already have it there. I'm just saying, like, if I see that tip, I'm just like, oh, don't forget that, you know?
right.
I could have taken out my notepad and just been like, try left
Yeah, I
side. I
know.
don't
That's
think
what I was
anybody
gonna
would give
say.
me
Like,
shit.
what's the difference though between taking a photo and writing it down?
Yeah.
There's not really. But where you're going with all that is the part that I was like, oh yeah, and I like if you're watching the visual one, if you're watching this, the video version of the podcast, I was like, yeah, because that
Yeah.
is the cool thing, is yes, you go out and you do your research and you do you do more multiple researches, but you're using these lake maps as a guide too, and that's what I loved about them is like they have these mini guides in there. Like you said, you go to the DNR and you see what they netted and stuff like that. It's like both of these, they have that information in some of them, or you can
Yeah.
see what they've netted or what's been trending in that
Oh,
area.
yeah.
These
Yeah,
are
they do.
written by pros like in the area, and
Yeah.
that's why they know where the hot spots are. Is because they
So I'm
got
like
locals
moving
out there
everything.
giving them information and fucking getting it published, and it's like that's cool. That's really cool. You
Yeah.
got, it's like a little mini guide, and I mean guide like fishing guide, like having a local knowledge base
Right.
right there on the
Yeah.
map. It's fucking sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's sick. And like you said, it's not for all the lakes, but some of them do have like the DNR stats and stuff. And then
Mhm.
other ones will just have, somebody's been out on that lake and they tell you straight up. It'll be like uh there's an abundance of this type of fish even though they're not known for being the biggest. Like you can catch a lot of them.
Mm,
So you're like, "All right, that's good to know." Or some of the
nice.
other ones too where they'll just be like they're known for having above average size this, but they're kind of sparse. So you're like, all right, well, if I want to
Oh.
try to catch a big one
Mhm.
and I want to just put in the work, that's a good lake to try to go do that, whatever it
Right.
happens to be. And then again, not with every single lake. Some of the lakes they almost have no information for. It's like,
Oh,
here's your
sure.
depth contours. It's kind of small. Not a lot of people fish this lake, but if you wanted to see it, we got you.
Mm.
If you want to go and try to fish it, here's what it looks like. And
Yeah.
then Country Joe down the road said, "There's fish in there," and that's how we got. So
That's
yeah, dude, that's my first go to all the time is pull up lake maps. Sometimes they're hard to find on the internet,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
places like Fleet Farms and Shield always has them, and they're not that expensive. Like
yeah.
if you live in a certain area, if you fish a lot, like in the county you're in and the surrounding counties, go and get you that book. If you live in
Oh,
the
yeah.
metro, they have one that's like I don't know if they break it down by like West and East Metro or if it's just the metro.
Right. I kind of missed that, but definitely Sportsman Connection had multiple regions of the state, like specifically just to Minnesota is where I went. There are other places, but yeah, to the
Oh
Minnesota
yeah.
one. Yeah, they had specific regions of the state. And so when you were getting one
Yeah.
book, you're getting a fucking thick book, like hundreds of pages, spiral bound. And
Yeah.
it's not one county. We're talking 5, 6, 10, maybe even, it was
It
big.
depends it
But
depends on the area. Yeah,
yes.
because some of the counties don't have as many lakes in them
Right.
or like as many lakes that are noteworthy. I know they
Yep.
have one too. Well, at least one that are like best lakes. I don't know if it's like best
Mm.
walleye lakes. I think some of them are broken down by like species, but
Yes.
it's like best walleye lakes.
So I found one specifically with sportsmen that was a muskie one. Like they specifically
Oh yeah,
had
yeah, yeah,
the muskie hunters edition basically
yeah.
of it. So you can get the big one. You can get like the West
Shamina's on
Metro
there.
fucking Sportsman's Connect book, but you could also get the West Metro Muskie Hunters
Yep.
edition of it. It's like, whoa, holy
Which,
shit.
yeah, if you go and check out that West Metro Muskie Hunters, Shamina's on that list.
Oh, is it?
There, yep, it's in that book.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. It's dope when you see your lake and you're just like, hell yeah, bro. I made it. I made it.
I made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I
Yep.
love it. So for the sportsman's one, because that's the one you're more familiar with, they
Yeah.
do have oh, sorry, what were you gonna
Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's the one that you said that you're more familiar with. They have ebook editions now. So like
they
you can
do?
get it on your fucking iPad. Like you can go and just buy this version.
I didn't know that. I gotta
on your
go and
iPad. Yeah.
I gotta go and get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I should say too, they're not that expensive. So if you have the money, go and get them. The reason I did that back in the day was like I just didn't have a lot of extra cash, and now it's not like, I mean, it's like $40 I think for a book, and you're getting like 50 lakes,
A stack of lakes. Yeah.
So it's not bad. There's no reason to not go and purchase it.
Yeah, especially with all the work that they're putting in, like you said. But no, I mean, I get it, right? Like that's as you're coming up, and it's also if you're not traveling a lot,
right?
And you're just like you're going to this lake one time, and you're going to check it out. Like, I mean,
yeah, I should preface too. I made that sound like I sometimes say poor. I mean frugal. It's like I've never been like broke or really hurting for money, but it's been like where I'm gonna go spend 40 for that, and I'm like, I could just take a peek at the lake map that I'm going to, and then that $40 could get me, that's like
half the grocery list for next week.
I mean, that's like 8 lures if I spend right, maybe 7.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Not even taking it back to the groceries. You're just like, nah, what I'm getting here while I'm in Fleet Farm.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
For sure. But yeah. So you can get them. They have a tablet version. Also, I didn't know this. You can, if you go to the website, at least if you go like Sportman Connection, like directly, you can get the whole collection of them. So like the Minnesota collection was on there. You could get the printed one, which I'm like, damn, that's a lot of books.
Collection. Damn.
Yeah, they have a discount on it. They like tell you the value of it, of like the 6 or 8 books or whatever it is. And then they, they slash it and say, but if you buy them all, you get them for this. They even did that with the e-book edition. So like, you can buy each one individually.
Yeah.
On, iTunes or wherever it is, or the App Store, or whatever the hell it's sold on.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can also get the whole collection on your tab too.
So it doesn't break it down, and it doesn't give you the same information that like the Sportsman's does. So that's also very nice to have when you're trying to look at new lakes and stuff. It gives you that information, and it gives you some tips, and it tell you like, this is worth fishing or whatever too. But if you're trying to just look at the maps, Navionics is like a monthly fee, and you have access to every lake. Like in Minnesota, I can zoom in and I can scroll over.
And this is on your phone?
Yes.
Okay.
The Navionics app. So I don't know if you had a plan on when to bring it up. I wasn't
really this is a perfectly good time, because we're going from like books, printed books, ebooks. Yeah. And now you're going into like, hey, I mean, you can get them electronically, as a book, but I'm talking about like, okay, we're getting into electronics. So okay, Navionics is an app.
I mean, this thing back in the day, I think this was like
you're holding
$300. Yes, 100%. Yes. Yep. I'm trying not to say 100% so much. Oh, it's bugging me as I keep saying it. I'm just like, who am I, Bert Kreischer? 100%. Anyways, this was like, I want to say it was like 250, and then the lake map chip was like another $100.
Oh, sure. Damn.
And that was just to be able to walk around and look at the lake maps in different areas and like scan. I could open it up and I could zoom out and I could move over and I could find lakes and stuff. I think the Navionics app is like, I don't know if it's like $30 a month or like $30 annually. I forget. It just, I have it and it just renews or whatever.
Yeah, so I know. Once you get one that you're like in on, you just keep it going.
Yeah. Because I like to have it, because the beauty with having it on my phone is that I'll just be driving by a lake that I'm unfamiliar with, and I'm just like, damn, look at that lake. I bet it's sweet. And I go, oh shit, pull up the app, and then it'll show on GPS that I'm near it. So I'll just like swipe over a little bit. There it is. And I start looking at the map. I'm like, oh, fucking
nice.
Look at that. Do you know what it's like for a fisherman like me? It's like seeing a pretty lady and you're just like, I wonder what's underneath that dress. And I just get to go, oh, fuck, look at that. I get to see exactly. Just looking at like underwater humps, and I'm like, oh, look at you.
Hiding that one right there.
Ooh, I knew you were hiding something underneath that water. Ooh, look at you. But no, so that Navionics, I've had that for a while, because that's actually what I had when we went up to that Voyageurs National Park.
Oh, yeah, dude. That was sick. Yeah. Now I remember the story. Like,
yeah. So when we went up to Voyageurs National Park, without that, we would have been fucked, dude. Because
totally fucked.
So first, there's buoys that show you where you're supposed to drive and stuff.
Yeah.
But we had driven all
just
the
another
way out.
use case scenario before you even start to tell the story, like, of why lake maps are good, and if you're on water, like, why these are useful, right? I didn't say we were going to just stick to like the basics of maps, of lake maps.
Right.
We're going all over, baby. This is the Real AF TV podcast.
Yeah. We're just talking about lakes and how we like lake maps, and just giving you some examples of like what you can do with lake maps and why it is important. You know, it's just a topic. It's not, we're going to teach you everything about them.
Yeah. No.
But we're going to learn you some stuff. So here's the thing. When you were on the Navionics, it actually showed you like the different green and red buoys, because I forget which one's right and which one's left.
Oh, right.
But it showed you on the GPS like where the buoys were and like where you were. So you could basically drive blind, which is almost what we did.
Yeah, dude. When we went to see the Mayweather McGregor fight. Yeah. Because we were out in the we were fucking out in the woods. We
drove for a while.
Like, we used those lakes like roads, and we were out in the woods to find a spot to camp.
Yeah. So we had a houseboat, which is a huge help with the lake maps to give you the confidence to be able to drive that houseboat and stuff.
Oh, I never
because
thought of
it's
that.
A big houseboat, and it's deep.
Yeah.
And there's rocks all over the place. That's why there's the buoys and stuff. If you drive in the wrong spot, you're going to fuck that boat up, and you're going to cause some serious damage. And I was the captain of the boat, so I was liable for like damages and stuff. So I was kind of stressed out. So having that lake map on me and be able to like use the GPS and know where we are was a huge help.
Yeah, I bet.
So we drove all the way out there with the houseboat that was pulling the pontoon boat. And then when we got all the way out there, we took the pontoon boat and drove back in the rain. And we had that one spotlight, and we're just, going full bore. Yeah, in the dark, and full bore is only like 10 miles an hour on that pontoon boat. It's only like 5 miles an hour on that houseboat. Those things do not move fast.
No, that thing was so slow.
But there was a couple of spots too that were just like literally like opening in like a sheer rock wall. Like that's where you had to go through. Like if you wouldn't have had GPS, you wouldn't have made it through. You would have just came up to a wall and been like, oh no, where do I go?
Because in the dark, in a national park, in the rain, there was no natural light.
No, not at all. There was no moon that night or something.
No,
Oh,
it was
because it was
cloudy.
raining.
It was
It was
raining.
raining. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
overcast. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
It
was
was too
dark as
overcast.
hell.
No way moonlight was getting through. Yep.
It was so dark. So
Yep.
we drove all the way back into that bar, and then we spent some time there. And then when we were done there, we had to go back, drive out, and then have to find the boat. Like
Yeah.
at least when we got close to shore, we could see the lights, and we're like, "Here's the shore." We had to go find the houseboat just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And did you have it marked on Navionics then?
I think I did have it marked. That's why it was pretty easy to get back to, or
Yeah.
not. I don't think I had it marked, but it records your trail. There's a
Oh,
line.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
just,
So you already had a like it
yeah,
was almost like literally the breadcrumbs, right? Or not
yeah, we
literally, but
literally
like
just had to, yeah,
the
I mean,
breadcrumbs
pretty
on the
much
map.
we just had to follow the same path back.
Right.
So we drove all the way in and then went back out, but that was a huge help knowing exactly where we were. And,
And the depths
um,
and the like each side of the buoys and just the amount of
yes,
detail in those maps that like really got us through that night.
totally. Yeah, it would
Shit
have
was
been a
crazy.
nightmare. I don't think without that map, I don't think we would have been able to go back in. And
Yeah,
definitely without
I don't
that
think so
map, I
either.
would have been shitting my pants most of the time. I just would have been like,
Right.
I probably would have wrote it everywhere like a crazy person, like red, right, left, green, like everywhere, just being like, make sure I know, don't forget it. Make sure you keep looking at the buoys. That one needs to be over there. That one needs to be over there.
Right.
Okay, all right, we're good. Just keep driving.
Just keep driving.
But yeah, but that Navionics Lake map is again, like I said, it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't give you tips. It
Yep.
doesn't say stuff. It does have some different markers of like where there's like some fish and different stuff. I
Mm.
should say I have seen some stuff like that where there's like a little marker and you click on it and it's like somebody went in and put on a little marker where it's just like, this
Mm.
spot, this bay, like
Mhm.
it said,
Mhm.
I don't remember if it said that it was actually like people fish for this here, but it was like a shallow rocky bay, kind of
Okay.
shit like that, where
Okay.
it kind of gave you like information on the lake,
Okay.
so you kind of like, okay, I know a little bit about that, or like
Yeah.
where there's the weeds, or they'll have a spot marked, which is very helpful too in a new lake, where it'll show you like a rock, like an underground rock or like underwater rock.
Mm.
Because I've been on some new lakes where they do not mark their shit. I thought they had to. I thought it was like a rule.
Oh.
Apparently not. I guess you
Oh.
can just be like, it doesn't matter.
We're not liable to fucking public water,
I
right?
was I was on one lake one time where there was 2 points, and then there was water between them. No marker whatsoever in my bass boat, so it's barely down. And
Mhm.
I'm driving through, and the motor hits the ground because there's almost no water there.
Holy shit.
And there's no marker. There's 2 points and water in between them. You would
Right.
assume that if you stay in the middle of the two,
That
where
you'd be
there's
fine.
no markers, that you'd be fine. Nope, almost no water.
Holy
It's just
shit.
like, how the fuck do you people not have this marked?
Whoa.
How is this not like a no wake zone or some shit?
Yeah.
I didn't
Huh.
get it. Yeah, so I have some fear over lakes like that.
Right.
And it was after that moment when we went on the houseboat. So I'm like, fuck, you never know, dude.
Oh,
Sometimes there's just
fuck.
no water in
That makes it
places.
worse.
Yeah.
So with Navionics, it sounds like there's kind of like a community feed in it. Do you think that it's people who subscribe to Navionics that are putting things on there? Or do you think these are
I
like people who run Navionics or have like
I
special admin access or whatever you want
I
to
think
say, like
I think
experts?
you have to be an admin. I don't
Okay.
know if you have the ability to like throw stuff their way and then they can put it on, but
Sure.
I didn't have the power to edit anything.
Yeah. Okay. You could
So it
just use it and look at it and see those notes or whatever.
right. So
Yeah,
I
but
think
they're not like the fishing hotspots where it's throwing you a
no.
bone and saying like, "Hey, here's where the crappies usually are."
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying. I'm not trying to like steer anybody away from those sportsman's one because those have valuable information and the hotspots ones are, those have more information than the sportsman's. But the hotspots ones are like $25, and it's a map of just one lake.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was,
like
everything I
you're
saw was
paying,
very much like this is one spot. Mini map.
right. So
One
you're
mini map
paying.
with a bunch of info folded up, tackle bag it.
Yep, I've seen that. I've seen bigger maps too. I have seen hotspots, like, because you get them in the same spots. You can, like, when you go to Shields or
Hmm.
Fleet Farm, they have them in the same like little rack of like, here's all the maps. Sometimes in like
Gotcha.
Shields, they'll have them almost like on. You can get them at Walmart. Walmart has them almost like not an end cap, but like a hanger place, like
Oh,
towards the end of the aisle. It's just
like
like,
a,
here's
yeah.
a line of magazines,
Yeah.
like,
Like where you
here's
used
a
to
in
put a punch card
fisherman.
back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That worked,
Yeah, like
right?
a
The
thing like
open.
that. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just some shit that they have hanging there where they'll just have like, basically wherever you're at. It's not like Shields or Fleet Farm that understand. I keep throwing those two out. I'm sure they have them at Cabela's or whatever sports
Right. Yeah.
outlet you have or whatever. But
Local bait shops.
exactly. Um, but those ones, and maybe like the local bait shops too, because they're not as big, so to be able to carry the inventory, where like Walmart and them, a lot of times what I've seen is that they have it like local to you,
Right.
like how they break it down, like those
Yeah.
uh the counties around you, like
Yeah.
that's what you're able to find at your Walmart. But if you
Right.
go to the bigger stores, they have everything, because they understand, as outdoorsmen, that we're traveling to where we want to go to, not, well, let's see what we could fish for
Right.
here.
Right.
Yeah, which is what you're getting at Walmart sometimes,
Yeah. Yep.
So,
That makes sense. That totally
yep.
makes sense. So shop around, basically. Um,
Shop around.
Before we get into like the bigger stuff, did you know that the Minnesota DNR, and I know it's a lot of Minnesota talk here, but we're just talking about what we know. Definitely listening outside the state, use this and just extrapolate it to your area, because there's a very good chance that's gonna ring true. But did you know that the DNR has the Lake Finder, and on there they have contour maps? They're just
Oh,
free.
no.
You just go look it up.
I didn't know they had contour maps on
Yeah,
there.
they
I
only
do.
look to be about 10 feet, which we'll get
Oh,
into when we
that
get into
makes
the chip stuff. They say that they
sense more.
that they scan for 5, but it was like,
Yeah.
I only ever saw 15. It was like 10, 15, 20. And then everywhere else it would be like 10, 20, 30, 40. So,
You miss a lot
it
of
is what it
detail
is.
when you're,
It's
yeah.
free.
Right, exactly. It's free.
Lots of species
Yeah.
info, public launch
Navy,
areas. It's real basic.
lot
It's
of,
free, but it's just out there. Minnesota DNR Lake Finder.
yeah. It depends on, the different, they'll have less detailed stuff for some of the lesser known lakes and like the sportsmen and stuff, and the same on
Mhm.
Navionics, but like the big time lakes
Mhm.
are 1 foot increments.
Mm.
So the detail is so much
Holy
better.
shit, dude.
Yeah. That's the same thing with my the lake map, the hummingbird ship.
Yeah.
Yep. This one too. Some of them. I think this one, the older one,
You're
I think
Lorenz there?
I think I had 2 foot increments on a lot of stuff. I haven't used
Damn.
that one in a long time. I'll still bring
Sure.
that one out when I ice fish,
Oh, okay.
because that's a nice one to have. It,
Because it just
it's
fits in your pocket and you just.
yeah, and you don't have to worry about like dropping your cell phone down the hole. I'd much rather drop that thing down the hole. Than my phone.
Right. The thing you've had for years. You're like, oh, it's kind of around its course.
Yeah, I mean, the lake map chip in there is so obsolete that when I bought a Lowrance unit, I had to buy a new lake map chip because it wouldn't take this one.
Oh, shit.
They're both Lowrance, but
Right.
I can't use this lake map chip on
On your
my
Lorenz.
Lowrance unit, which was the old unit
Mounted
I
up
had.
to your mini boat, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one's mounted. Yep.
Yeah. So let's start talking chips. Let's get more into chips, because I found the Hummingbird Lake Master.
Yeah.
These things are just SD cards loaded up, which is like, not to
Yeah.
say
It's
that
the
that's
same
nothing, but it's a
lake.
whole shitload of data. You
Yeah.
just got to get the chip and pop it in.
Lake Master, it's made for Hummingbird, but Lake Master is the company that makes them. Like that's
Oh,
the same Lake Master that makes that chip the same Lake Master that makes my other Lowrance one.
Oh, so these guys are the chips, and then they're configuring them specially. Like Hummingbird probably works directly with Lake Master and says, "Hey, make the Lake Master or make the Hummingbird version of your stuff, brand
Yes.
it,
Yep.
and this is what we want to see, and this is what we okay."
Yeah, because it has to be able to use the buttons, and be able to scroll through and do stuff. And it has this Lake Master chip did bring like a new little drop down menu too,
Oh,
where that was a little bit of a, a hassle, which it wasn't that big of a deal. But I I don't know if you remember me talking to you about it a little bit, but I had to like do an update. But to do an update, I had to load the update onto an SD card and then put the SD card in, and it just automatically updated. But for whatever reason,
mm-hmm.
it didn't want to take a big SD card. I had to like find a small SD card, and I'm like, who has a small SD card anymore?
What?
Yeah, it was like, I don't know if it was just like an older one. It didn't want to see, like a 250 or like a
Oh, yeah,
like the
I
big
remember
SD
this
card. It didn't.
because
Yeah.
I had to tell you. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like up to a gig is a regular one, and then after that there's the XD. And yeah, I remember talking about the different formats because it had to get, when you said big SD card and little SD card, you're not talking about the physical presence
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You're talking
yeah. No,
about the
the
actual
storage
data
space.
size that it can
Yes.
hold, because SD
Yep.
cards have different ways that they hold data, and that's how it stays the same size. Like that's why there's a 256 megabyte card, and now there's a 256 gig card, and they're the same fucking size
Right.
because it's the way that SD scanned it, like writes the data and compresses data and shit.
There's really a 256 gig.
Oh yeah, dude. I have.
Holy shit.
I think I put a 250 in my Switch.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it, but
right. Yeah. No, they get bigger.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
they get bigger. They get bigger. I put a 256 in my. I think it was a 256 in my 256 gig in my Switch, and I was like, damn, I should have went bigger.
What was it go like a terabyte?
They do have terabyte ones now. Yeah, but I think that now jumps into a different format again. I think it goes up to I want to say some companies I think are making 700 gig ones now that are still in the average, but then once you get into the TB, you're talking about a different storage format again and a select electronics that will take them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But still, even to have that capability, you can put a terabyte on smaller than a dime. And when we started gaming, the memory cards were 8 megabytes.
They were even smaller than that when we actually started gaming, because the PS2 card was an 8 megabyte.
Right.
Which was like double what the PS1 could hold or something like that.
I thought it was always 8. I don't remember ever having a 4.
It's because PlayStation didn't have a number on it, like the OG, like PS1.
Oh, really? So
it
was
have
just
a size. It was like, here's a memory card. It has
sense.
16 boxes on or blocks on it or whatever.
That makes sense. I didn't think about it. Yeah, that does make sense. It's just here's your memory card.
Right.
But yeah, take your space. Yeah, it was that thing. Here's your blocks.
Yep. And then they went to PS2 and it did start to go by megabytes. Yeah. I think they still had blocks on there because it was backward compatible. So it was weird.
Oh, yes.
But it did start to take up megabytes. Yeah, I don't know. I forget those details because, it's my hobby,
Absolutely
but
nuts.
I just forget. Anyways.
Yeah.
Back to the chips, the Lake Master chips. So you said you got a Lowrance unit hooked up to your boat.
My old unit to my little boat is Lowrance. I have a Hummingbird.
Hummingbird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I have the new Hummingbird, and then I have the Lake Map, the Premium, which gets you the Smart Strike.
What?
And so not just the Smart Strike. I forget what they call the other thing, but how we're talking about the contours and stuff.
Yeah.
The shading, like it has like multiple colors in the shading.
Oh.
and it
Sick.
actually makes it kind of look like a 3D picture. It kind of helps
Uh-huh.
you imagine what you're looking at a little bit more, and the
Sweet.
colors are like blue to like red,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of helps you picture where the deeper spots are, and
Oh yeah.
because when you're looking at all the lines and you're not looking at the numbers the right way,
Yeah. Or you're
it
not
could,
in real close because like the way your unit is set up and
I
you're
mean,
standing fishing or whatever. I get
yeah,
it.
a hole and a hump look exactly the same
Right.
if it's one color. You just
Right.
have to look at which way the numbers go.
Right.
So when you have that color, it helps you kind of differentiate without having to think about it as much. You can just look and be like, oh, there's that's the hump or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm at the
Yeah.
bottom, I'm at
For
the top,
sure.
kind of shit. But the smart strike is cool. And here's what I was talking about before with like the tips and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So, whoops, the smart strike, you can put in your parameters. You can be like, I'm fishing in fall. It's the middle of the
Oh,
afternoon.
what?
Here's what the fish I want to go for.
No
And
way, dude.
yeah, and then it will highlight different areas on your map.
What?
Yeah, isn't that awesome? And it will highlight different areas on your
Holy
map.
shit.
And it says like, here's where you think, here's where it should be good spots for that this time of year, where you're going, what you're doing.
No way, dude.
Yeah. So
That
here's the
is
part.
so fucking cool.
So here's the part that I was going to say, where with the other maps, it's like you're getting information and stuff, but it's still not all like, don't take that as the Bible. Don't
Sure.
be like,
Sure.
this is where it says I need to fish. I need to fish here.
Right.
Because the funnest part for me, because I fish Shamana so much, when I put in the parameters, I
Yep.
wasn't necessarily putting in the parameters. Part of me wanted to be like, show me a spot I didn't know.
Mm.
Show me a spot where you're like, you should try here. And I'd be like, for real?
Right.
There?
Right.
No, not there.
Nah.
But
Couldn't be.
everything was pretty straightforward, except for like muskies. There was like a couple of spots where I'm just like, oh, really? You think that spot would work? I'll have to try cast over there a couple times, that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But there was other spots where it wasn't highlighted, and I'm like going through the map, and I'm like, well, you're not telling them to go there, and I've caught one there, and you didn't tell them to go there, and I've caught one there. It's kind of that shit where I think they're highlighting the most probable areas.
Yeah, there's
But
probably some
because-
algorithm that's doing it, and maybe not. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's somewhat influenced by locals too, like just like the other physical map places are outsourcing some of that information. I'm sure they are
Yeah.
too, but I bet you, because it's so electronic, it's probably some sort of algorithm.
Right. And I'm betting too that it's probably one of those things where they're just telling you straight up, and they could be 100% right. Like if you were able to drain the lake and just see what everything was down there, have ways of just getting a picture.
Mm-hmm.
In those spots that I've caught muskies, maybe I'm the only one that was casting there, and that's why I got that one to bite, because there was only that one there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the other spots that are highlighted, if you could see everything, there's one here, there's one there, and they're not highlighting those areas because they're like, your odds aren't as good. There's only one fish there.
Right.
Hopefully he bites.
Right.
They're talking about these other areas. But some of the spots I fished were a little bit more where I did feel like, this is a long line of weeds. This feels like there should be a fish here, but they didn't highlight that area. So there's some spots where I feel like you kind of missed that one. I do feel like that's a good spot to catch it. Like my biggest muskie, that 50-inch fish that I caught.
Yeah.
The spot I caught it on, not on the map.
Ooh.
But other spots that I've had plenty of them follow up and stuff.
Okay.
Like also, dude, I'm telling you, one time I had a fish hit a lure, because sometimes you have the muskies bite, and I was using a big spinner blade and a spinnerbait,
Yeah.
a big spinnerbait. So like the safety pin style spinnerbait. And it had a trailer hook, and there's sometimes where a fish bites, and it's just confusing where you get a hit and it doesn't get any hooks, and you're like, how, dude? You had to bite almost 2 bare hooks. I don't get
Huh.
how you're not hooked up. I'm telling you, that was the biggest fish I've ever seen in real life.
Oh, like you saw it.
And
You
that
saw
one
it strike, basically.
that one hit, and that one was one of the spots that it had highlighted on there.
Oh,
So the
nice.
biggest muskie I've ever seen in real life that I didn't catch, I just seen it bite it. I
you
was
could see
close
it through
enough.
the water. Yep.
And then it rolled, and I was like, did you see the side of that? And I was talking to my dad, he didn't see it. And I'm like, the side of that fish was like that, dude. That thing was massive. So yeah, it's an awesome key or awesome tool.
Yeah.
And when you're going to new lakes, I've been dicking around with that. Just like, I've spent hours just sitting in the boat on the boat lift. Like everybody else, I go fishing, come back, stop, go in for like breakfast or lunch or whatever.
Yep.
Come back out, not quite ready to go back out on the water.
Yep.
And just fucking dicking around, pulling up other lakes. I'm like looking at other lakes on this lake.
So like because that's what I was
at.
actually going to ask is like Navionics is just on your phone, right? You can kind of take a look or whatever. You can do this with these hummingbirds and other chips. You can still explore, I guess, without having to be on the water.
Right, exactly.
Nice.
And you can put that card in your computer and stuff, because you can save shit. It's a pretty sophisticated system.
Okay.
Because you can save waypoints and all that other stuff, and you can communicate to different systems. Like I have the N. I forget the exact number. It's like the
N438 or something.
Yeah, well, it's like the HDSI N or whatever, 7N.
Okay. Sure.
The N stands for networking. So I can hook them to, like, I could hook one in the front to the one that's on like the bow mount to the back, and they can communicate with each other. And I could pull it, like I could save a waypoint on one, and the waypoint would automatically be on the one in the front,
to the other unit. Yeah.
And when you're not on your boat, you can bring them into your the other way to update without doing the SD card, like I was talking about, you can bring the whole unit inside. But the unit I had was up north. I wasn't gonna like take it home and dick around with it. I was just like, I'll just do the SD card thing. But there's a lot of stuff that you can dick around with on the computer too. I'm not gonna get into all that shit, but yeah, it's the stuff that you can do, the technology has advanced immensely. But those lake map chips are money. They're so nice. Dude.
And what are they like? Are they still about $100 or whatever? I forgot to look at the price.
No, they I think, what does it say right now? I think it's for the premium is $200. I thought,
but I mean, look at all the shit you get. Look what you just said. Like,
I know. I mean,
if you're into it, dude, you're into it, and that is like, it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's not a ripoff.
It's $200 if getting the premium, and the weird thing is, well, apparently on Amazon it's $148.97. So if you want it, it's
seems to be on sale on Amazon right now.
Amazon has it for cheaper. I don't know who's selling that
now,
but
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say that the premium gets you those couple of things, and then they have the lake map, just the chip that's not the premium, doesn't have the multiple color capabilities, and it doesn't have the smart strike, and that's $150. So it's $50 more, and then you get those tools. But to me, for an extra $50 to get the smart strike was worth it. Yeah. And then the color thing turned out to be really cool too. I didn't know it was going to be so. I wanted the ability to be able to highlight different areas. Like if I'm being like, I think the fish are shallow, I don't even want to look at anything deep and like set it, like 12, 13 feet is my deepest. So basically I have the color and I can just like ignore anything deeper.
Oh,
I
sweet.
wanted to be able to do shit like that.
That's cool.
But then when I got the color and I was able to do the contour where it made it look kind of like a 3D image, I was like, that's tight. I'm glad I got
Yeah, dude.
that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so one thing that I don't fully understand before we wrap up here is,
Yeah.
so it seems like Lake Master is probably like the publisher, like the holder of the data, and then these companies are working with them. So if you kind of dedicate yourself to an electronics, and then you buy the chip, right? Because like you got your Hummingbird chip, and it's not like you can just pop it into your phone and the shit's gonna work, or you can put it in your PC and it's just gonna work without a Hummingbird on the boat, right?
Right. Well, yeah. It would be, I mean, I'm sure your Hummingbird chip you'd be able to play with on your computer and stuff, but it'd be pointless.
Right.
The amount of money you'd spend for that would just be
Wouldn't be worth it. Like
silly.
go buy a Sportsman connection electronically, right? And just read it on your iPad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And the two, I mean, what you're dealing with basically is the two different brands
Mm,
are Lake Master and Navionics.
right. Okay.
So Navionics, I have that app. I don't think Lake Master makes anything like that.
Sure.
But I don't even
And
know.
that, yeah,
It
it's
looks
not a
like
big deal,
Garmin.
but yeah, you need an electronic on the boat that's going to, or it's pointless to buy the card without having the electronic to even read it, or to like really do this full display that you're talking about in the first place.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And just for people out there too that if you were wondering, I'm sure if you have a unit, you already know about this stuff. But when you're looking at other brands, they're working with like Navionics. Some of them, it depends on who you're going with. Like
Sure.
Hummingbird has Lake Master. It looks like Garmin uses Navionics.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some of that other. They work together with different people. So I got the Navionics on my phone,
Right.
and I got Lake Master. I don't discriminate on anything, but I don't think I have the color capabilities at all on my phone. And
Mm-hmm.
just on a quick glance, it looks like Navionics has like a Platinum Plus, which I'm sure is a lot of the same kind of stuff for Garmin users, where you're getting all that extra shit. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
buying those the Lake Master chips without having that stuff would just, especially when you have like Navionics available on your phone,
Yep.
just seems kind of silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's other,
I got you.
and there's so many different fishing apps out there right now too.
Yeah. Which
I don't know if
I
they
saw that
use.
too.
Yeah.
They just didn't seem to have the amount of detail. It's like it's almost like they were trying to be a Lake Master or a Navionics or something like that, like a more affordable version, we'll say, of those two. And it's just like these other two companies are already gathering so much data that they just
Yeah.
seem inadequate almost in a way. And I don't know. I didn't dive into those enough, but I saw what you saw too. Like there's just a lot of options out there, but like the
Yeah.
big players in the game already have the data and the format, and it seems like they're really dominating and still staying on top of their shit too. Like they're not just
Oh, for
letting
sure.
being popular get to their head
Yeah. No, it's basically Navionics and Lake Master are the two that have the market cornered.
for the
I'm
electronic
just
part.
saying that you might be able to find like a kind of like a hot maps style or a hotspots style shit on one of those fishing apps, where
Mm-hmm.
they're like, here's the hotspots.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of it. I was actually looking for it. I just downloaded one that I hadn't got a chance to really look at. So I don't know if I don't want to throw out their name anyways and try to like blow them up, like check it out. Because I have no idea if they're good or not.
Right.
But I just saw one that I downloaded where they're talking about using the lake maps and stuff and kind of pointing out different points and stuff and basically they're giving you a breakdown of where the wind is blowing that day and how the wind is
Damn.
affecting things during that day, kind of using your map and stuff.
Whoa.
So, yeah,
That's crazy, dude.
that's a little bit like not necessarily the lake maps, but it is still because they're like showing you the points and stuff that are like the wind blown points of where
Right, which
fish
we've
are going to
talked
be
about so
active.
many times on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. And I
So
mean, with a big lake, I can really see how, a bigger lake than the lake high fish. I'm talking like if you don't know
yeah,
everywhere, where they're really kind of breaking it down, where you're not really thinking about it. You got
right.
maybe quarter mile to drive down the shoreline, but they're like right here is getting wind blown right now. It looks like it's the perfect spot to fish.
That's
Be
cool.
like, damn, dude, I gotta move down that way. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's super fucking
I'll look.
cool.
I'll
So,
look into it and report back.
yeah, right. We're gonna do more, and there's definitely gonna be like an episode where we got to just talk about electronics. I mean, so on that note, though, before we give me a quick 2 minute, because we'll do more in a different episode about electronics, but give me the quick 2 minutes of like how these how lake maps to electronic lake maps are now affecting trolling, because I read about that and how like you can like lock it in or
Oh,
something.
hell yeah. So if you got how I was talking about like the different things communicating with each other, you got that networking.
Oh
It can
yeah.
communicate with your trolling motor too. So your trolling motor uses the GPS and stuff, and you can set a contour line. Like if you know they're in 10 feet of water or whatever, you can like set waypoints and tell it like go from this waypoint to this waypoint, and it'll drive to that waypoint, and it'll just keep you on path, like with the wind pushing you and stuff. It'll redirect and stuff, or you can just set it on a contour line.
Sick.
Like, and
Like a
if
contour line that's drawn there on the map. You're like, here, just
a
stick to the 20
yep,
feet and it'll just
where it
follow it.
says, where it says 10 feet is, and it kind of curves in and goes out and stuff, you can just tell it stay on that
Holy
10-foot line, and
shit.
it'll drive on that 10-foot line.
So it'll just keep going, like it'll follow the shoreline, and just like for the most part, lakes are like 10 feet at the same. We'll just use it as a smaller lake. It'll basically like run laps around the whole lake at the 10-foot
Oh yeah.
contour line.
Yep.
That's so
But
fucking crazy.
but most
I mean, I'm
people,
oversimplifying, of course, but like
right, and
for sake
like
of
most people, like you have the option of like going back where you were and stuff too. So most people
Mhm.
aren't going to go around the whole lake.
Right.
You know that there's like one shoreline that's being wind blown, and like that's the
Right, we
money
were just
spot, and
talking
you're
about,
liking
sure.
where it is, or you trolled down and you hit like 3 fish there. You can turn around and go back the other way and just be like, follow the path back
Follow
that
that
way.
same
Like
path
take the
back.
same line that we just did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sick, dude.
and the new trolling motors are so dope. I don't have one, but that's one of my biggest goals, because it's going to make everything easier. Because not only is it trolling along that, but it'll use the GPS to like spot lock, so you can hit spot lock and it'll stay. The
Mm.
wind's blowing you this way, the waves are moving, everything. You're sitting in one spot, or like say you want to stay on that contour line, that it'll keep driving along that contour line if you want as you're fighting the fish. But if you don't want to fight a fish while you're trolling past everything else, you hit the spot lock, fight that fish in, and
And
then
it
hit
just
like
like light
resume, and it
anchors
just
you
keep
in electronically
yeah,
right there.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you hit
fucking
that
sick, dude.
then you hit the continue or whatever, and you keep driving. But yeah, or the people that launch their boats by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that have the auto deploy and stow, you can just like launch the boat, it'll just float out, auto deploy, it'll like put it in the water, and then you just GPS it back to you where you have the remote. It'll drive back to the dock by itself. So sick, dude.
That is so sick. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. We got to wrap this up. Otherwise, we can keep going. Obviously, that was crazy amount of maps. We're going to jump into the break here, getting into the random take. We're going to be talking chicken wings. It's been a little bit since we talked about food. So we're
Ew,
going to
yeah.
do chicken wings, partially motivated by the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago, or a week
Nice.
ago, whenever the fuck it was. But this has actually been a topic that I've had written down for a long time. And you'll see why in the next half. So yeah, let's do it. Hit the break. Here we are, patreon.com/realaftv. That's right, patreon.com/realaftv, real like fish and reel. We are on Patreon, and we are coming to tell you, and by we, I mean me and Tim, Real AFTV podcast here, coming to you to say we have a Patreon as low as $1 a month, but hey, you could go up to $100 if you really wanted to get crazy with it. It's there. Go over to our website, realaf.tv. You can find the Patreon link right there, or go to Patreon and look us up, Real AFTV, Real Like Fish and Reel. And we have things like, for $50 a month, we will customize, what kind of tackle is it, Tim? We have some in the warehouse right now that we haven't actually ran out.
A lure. Yes.
Lure, thank you.
Is a crankbait.
Crankbait.
Yes, we will customize a crankbait for you.
At the $50 tier. Also, Patreon, if you're new to the whole Patreon thing, if you're on a podcast, you're probably not that new to it. But Patreon is something that you can jump in and out of. Like, if you do $50 this month, bam, you get the custom lure. But you don't want to do that for the whole year. You jump down to the $5 a month tier, where you're going to get early access content. You can help vote on the random take, one of the random takes for the month. And, we'll keep up with you on Patreon as well. Like just a direct Patreon contact. There's communication you do only through Patreon. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're new, there's just a little intro to it.
Yeah. And to clarify, that custom painted lure is a fully custom painted lure, like the pattern and everything. That won't be just something that we have a lure that we just like write Real AFTV on.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for clearing that up, because yes, it's a slug, for lack of a better word, right now, and it will be turned into something.
Right.
I'm not good at the whole fishing lingo, so maybe Tim, you could evaluate on that a little, or like elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, right now it has no color, and I will give it color.
There we go.
It will look like a bait fish imitation of some sort. It might not be exactly colored. It might not be realistic. Some of that stuff out there that the different companies work with makes different stuff, but it will be a custom painted lure, and it won't look like dog shit. Because not to be too full of myself, but I have some talent.
You have some artistic talent. Yes.
Yeah,
very true. If you know friends and family and stuff like that got a few bucks to kick our way, let them know. realaf.tv. Scroll down a little bit. There's the Patreon link. It'll shoot you right over. Sign up for a little bit.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Real AFTV podcast, show about fishing random takes from the land of 1,000 lakes. As if this is your Friday podcast where you just come for the split, well, then you came to the right place for food talking.
It's the chicken and the beer that makes Luda keep rapping.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about chicken. We could talk about some beer too if we wanted to. But I had to throw that little Luda in there. Me and Tim.
Luda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me and Tim, we spent a lot of time with Luda. Anyways, I wanted to talk about chicken wings, Tim. Mostly because, well, we cook. We fucking cook. And if you ain't listened to the podcast before, we cook. It's been a little while since we done a food topic, it feels like.
Yep.
But we cook. And I had a little wing party during the Super Bowl. That's not the reason why I brought this up. It's because chicken wings are so weird and different. And I was like, I don't even know if me and Tim have ever actually been out for wings before.
That's a good point. I don't know, but I can tell you which places I like to go for wings. I like wings. I do like wings.
Me too. So before we start, okay, I'm going to say there's 3 kinds of wings. There's traditional little wings with the bone in.
Yeah.
Then there's the full wing with the bone in. And then there's something that ain't even a wing at all. It's just a chunk of chicken breast that's deep fried with batter on it that we call a wing.
Oh yeah, the boneless.
Yeah.
What are you talking about with the first two? You talking about like the drummies and the flats?
Yeah, is that what you call it?
Or
A
the
drummy and a
drumettes?
flat?
Yeah. Where it looks like a like mini chicken leg. And then the flats have the two bones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you get those together, that's the chicken wing. So like
Yes,
buy a
those
pack
two.
of chicken wings, right? buy
Yep.
a pack of full chicken wings, and it's those two still stuck together by flesh and tendons.
Yep. It's those two plus another piece that you cut off and discard. It's like a three
You're
piece
right.
because it's
You're
it's the flat, it's the drummy, and then it's like their hand almost, I think. But
Yeah.
it has no fingers.
Right. Except for they don't have fingers. Right. So Sam, what up? Shout out to Sam.
What up, Sam?
He took me to a spot. He's a big wing guy. So me and him been out for wings a few times.
All right.
He took me to a spot that did full wings. And I was like,
Oh,
fuck, dude. So you bought a 4 wings there?
yeah.
That's 8 wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not been to a spot like that before. That
Yeah,
sounds
dude. So
nice.
that's what I'm talking about, like full wing. Like we had full chicken buffalo wings. Like they were buffalo
Hell
wings.
yeah.
They were full size. Like we had to get in there and fucking break it apart and chew the meat off. And
That's pretty sick.
yeah,
I was
dude.
like, yeah,
It was so
that's
sick.
dope.
I've never done it though. Like I never personally done it. I've only been to a spot that did it. And I mean, I made chicken wings, but not not chicken wing style like we're talking about here, you know?
Oh, you mean you never cooked them like that, or you've never like
Right.
broken them down?
So I've cooked chicken wings like that, but
Yeah.
like on the grill barbecue style, you know, like it was a chicken wing and it was chicken thighs and it was chicken legs. It was like a whole chicken thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm talking like buffalo style chicken wings, like the things that made wings famous, where you got bread
Right.
and you got sauce, you got some frying going on. I've never done that with a full wing.
Okay.
I've done it with the wings as we talk about you got the flat
Yeah.
and the drummy.
Yeah. And have you broke them down though? Have you got like a full wing and then cut them into those pieces?
Fuck yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just having
you got to
left
cut
it.
the
Yeah, I've
talon
done-
off and everything, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Same. I've never made them
Okay.
full wings, but I've bought the full size ones
Yeah.
because it's so much cheaper.
Dude, yeah, you buy a 12 pack of wings.
Yeah.
That's a 24 pack of wings, man. You're having a party.
You're just doing the work. I mean, that's what I've found.
Mhm,
There's a couple of
mhm.
different things I follow on Instagram and stuff where I've been learning that like you're just paying for them to do the work for you.
Oh, 100%.
You can buy it and break it down like a chuck roast.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them out there where you can get like multiple different steaks in that same chuck roast. And
Oh,
you just have to
damn.
break it down yourself. You just have to know what you're doing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You got to send me that. You might have sent me that chuck roast one, but
Yeah, because I mean
it
it's
sounds
not
brand new to me. Like, oh shit, a chuck roast?
Yeah, because I think you get the chuck eye steak, and then there's a couple of other steaks, kind of like medallion style stuff
Sure.
in it when you break it down. So it's nothing. It's not like, hey, there's a ribeye hiding in that chuck roast.
right.
It's not that kind of
Yeah, no,
stuff.
I got you there.
But yeah, yeah, dude, it's breaking down your own stuff saves a lot of money. So I've
So
done
much.
that plenty of times.
Yeah.
But I've also
I actually prefer
done,
to get them that way when I'm going to have a wing party. I didn't this year because we were doing it around
Yeah.
Super Bowl. And so like it was hard to find wings anyway. Like wings are in just such high
Yeah.
demand that we just found what we could and it was already broken down. But I prefer to buy
Well,
them whole and then break them down and cook them.
So I like to do that sometimes, but there's other times where I like to just have the ease too, just having it ready and stuff. So
Sure.
a lot of I actually have like chicken thighs, boneless chicken breasts,
Mhm.
and sometimes chicken wings. I don't always have the chicken wings on hand, but I almost always have those 3 on hand because Costco, you can buy, it's like it's one big pack and it's 6 individual pieces that like, so you can cut them all apart
Nice.
and it'll be like a pound a piece.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'll get those. I'll just cut them down the seams and have 6 packs in there, and then just like Sunday or whatever, I'm like, all right, we can do this that day, this that day, and I'll just
Sweet.
move a couple of packs over from the freezer into the fridge and let them thaw out.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and they had the same thing with the wings. You can buy it's 6 packs of individuals. All of them range in like the $25 range. So you're
That's
getting a
sick, dude.
lot of stuff. Yeah, it's not bad. I have a Costco or a Sam's Club membership too,
Mm-hmm.
because they had a sale like before Christmas or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I jokingly kind of like got my wife like a little present and like one of those boxes with like a gift for like a gift card.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, got you something early. She's like, what? I'm like, open it up. And she's like, no, you can't be giving me early Christmas presents. I'm like, just do it. She opens it up. It's like a Sam's Club card. I was like, yeah, now we can go to both bulk stores.
Bulk stores. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I'm going to Costco and Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
Because they have different stuff. So it's like,
Right.
whatever.
Sure.
We'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
But so Sam's Club is not that way. They don't have those packaging like that. They'll have a lot of chicken and wings and stuff, but it's almost like you got to package it yourself. So I'm just throwing that out there because if anybody's looking for it, those individual packs are so damn convenient.
Convenient, right?
Yeah.
But you're right to say though that like that's a really good thing to think about is like even what I said is you get the big pack of chicken wings, and it's like it says 12 wings. That's 24 wings. Go break them motherfuckers down.
Right.
Have yourself a 12 pack and throw the other shit in the freezer. That's going to be $8 well spent.
Yeah. And when you're talking about that, like 24 wings too, you're breaking it down. I bet you're paying like $7, $8 for that pack of wings because it's not broken down like that.
Right.
And then if you bought 2 of those packs, you're looking at $14, which is probably the same equivalent of wings that I'm getting from Costco for $25.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So when you're talking about that, if you got the time,
paying people to break it down, right?
If you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad, dude, when your kids are at school, just go get you that bulk meat, shop it down yourself, right? If I had more time, I'd be doing it all the time.
Oh yeah.
But it's a lot of times it's just like I don't have that kind of time. So when I get home, I just want to be able to pull those.
You do want to pay for the convenience, or you're fine paying for the convenience for sure. 100%. Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Yeah.
Oh, why can't I stop with the 100%? Yes, true. You are correct. It's
hey, leave a comment if you hear Tim saying 100% all the time. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Exactly 100. How many times have I said 100%? 100% of the time have I said it?
Probably. So when it comes to chicken wings, we go out. We're going to a chicken joint. What are you ordering? Like what kind of wing are you ordering? Because let's just say they have the traditional, right? We're not going to a spot and getting the big fucking wings like I talked about at the beginning because that's a rarity.
We talking about sauce?
We're talking traditional. We're talking traditional versus boneless. And then what kind of sauces are you putting on there?
Dude, honestly, it depends on the mood I'm in.
Me too.
Sometimes I want that deep fried crispy crust.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to do any work. I want to take a fork,
stick that motherfucker in there,
and I want to have it sauced. I want to dump it. I want it sauced already. I want chick, and then in the ranch.
Into the ranch.
Yep.
Yeah,
the whole chunk. Yeah. I don't want to do any work. Some days it's just like I don't want to get my fingers dirty. I want to just use the fork.
Uh-huh.
But then some days it's like the whole wing, and then there's other places like Slim Chickens that has chicken strips, which are basically boneless chicken wings. Like, I don't know. I don't understand what the fuck the difference is, except for like maybe a little bit more breading to chicken ratio when you cut it into smaller pieces.
Say. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, and you cut it up. I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I end up doing is that I'll cut it into those, or not cut it into those pieces. I will get slim. So when I was talking about where I like to go for wings.
Yeah, do it.
A sauce is a big part for me. I like to have sauce and I like to have it evenly coated and stuff.
Yeah.
My Buffalo Wild Wings is dog shit.
Yep.
I don't know if
Every-
your guys' Buffalo.
Nope. And I know, again, back to the even what we were talking about in the first part, where it's like, hey, you know, there's divisions of this stuff, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm on board with you. Is that the B dubs that I've been to around me, they don't sauce right, dude.
Dude, that's what I don't understand. Is like you're
What's going
already.
on?
I know we're talking about the money side right now already. We know what it costs to have these wings.
Right.
We know what you spent on these wings.
Right.
Why are you being so damn stingy with the sauce?
Yeah.
I know it doesn't cost you that much.
Yep.
It's like you're trying to have like a profit margin. Like, well, we need to make a little bit more money. To what? Lose my business? I'm never coming back here because you don't know how to put sauce on my chicken.
Sauce them motherfuckers up. That's what I'm here for.
You people crazy.
But for real though, I'm like, if because I'm the same way. If I'm going for wings, it just depends on my mood. It depends on if I'm feeling like getting dirty and
Right.
you know, and having a beer and getting the cup dirty and just like being in it and just having that moment, or if I feel like just sticking with a fork. But if I'm getting boneless, no doubt about it, I am less forgiving if that shit ain't covered in sauce. And I mean,
oh yeah,
sauce.
I almost said 100% again. I turned into Buffalo Wild Wings. I will never get your boneless wings because one, you don't sauce them right, and two, you have figured out a way to make fried food dry as shit. The whole beauty of deep fried food is that it like seals in the juices and it's juicy and it's fresh, and
right.
I get dry shit with not enough sauce. Like, that can counter a lot of it. Like, well, they weren't the greatest wings, but they did coat them in the sauce nicely.
Right.
No. Here's why I go to Slim Chickens and why I love Slim Chickens so much, because you can get those chicken strips and you can get chicken wings in the same deal. You can get them both at the same time. They'll give you both, so you can choose.
This is bone-in traditional wings.
Yeah, so you can choose between bone-in traditional wings, or you can choose between that or chicken strips.
Nice.
Or you can get a combo and get both. You can get chicken strips and that's the first thing I did when I got there was give me both. I need to see what you guys are working with.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is when you split them down the middle and you get two different things, you can get different sauces on each one, and they have the option for you to shake them. They will put them in a bag with your sauce and they will shake them up.
Hell yeah.
And there is no better way to coat them. They are 100% coated. There's sauce on everything.
Yeah, dude.
You don't have to worry about shit. It's like, this is almost like, what is it? The term for like a step above fast food.
Oh, I don't know. I call it Culver.
You know what I'm talking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Culver's or Portello's or Freddy's, all that shit is like a step above fast food. It's like, it's the fast food motto. You walk up, you order at a menu, and it might not be the fastest food you've ever ate. And then you got like a nicer looking restaurant to go sit down in and eat. That's what it is. It's like an elevated version. Yeah, it's like an elevated version of fast food.
Nice.
And it comes with like Texas toast and shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
When you order, so it's good stuff, and their sides are good and everything, but sauce, dude.
Sauce.
And it's like,
dude. It's about the sauce.
And it's like I spent less on the meal here and I don't have to tip because it's like,
I walk up to way, right?
Yeah. And I'm supposed to tip this waitress at Buffalo Wild Wings when I'm getting this horseshit stuff. I know it's not her fault.
Right.
I also just heard some shit. This is a little bit random side note, but since I'm talking about a waitress, I just heard some shit that I didn't realize, where the lady was, she said she used to work as a waitress. So she's like, this isn't even coming from somebody who's trying to get money. She said 6% goes to the house every night. So if you don't want to tip because you're talking about how, I'm not going to tip you for doing your job, at least tip that 6%, because they have to take 6% of their cut and give it to the cooks and shit anyways.
Oh shit.
So even if you don't tip, they just have to hand over 6% to the cooks.
No way.
So if nobody tips, they're just losing out on their regular wages
Oh damn.
because you have to pay out the house, is what she referred to it as.
Oh shit.
So I was like, damn. So at the bare minimum, you got to tip that 6%. I always tip at least 15. I know some people are just like, I always tip 20, and I'm like, for what?
For what?
Sometimes it's like, that's
I go
crazy.
up and down, and it depends on service for me. Not to get into tipping or anything like that, but we took my daughter to Perkins yesterday, and now I'm kind of like, oh shit, I should have tipped a little bit more if that's the case at Perkins. You know, like,
Oh yeah,
it's hard when I feel pressured, and there's nobody there. Like, I'm the only one checking out. But when the screen pops up and it just gives you numbers, you know?
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to check out quick. They got to print my, I pick one.
right.
You give me the
I
time to
know.
sit at the table for a minute and just like write that out, put a number on the check, or dig through my pockets, see if I brought the right amount of cash. Like, anyways, let's not get into tipping.
Right.
Back to
No, I totally.
Hey,
I just had this.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say I totally understand what you're talking about because it bothers the shit out of me too. Where you go up and it has a thing. I just had it with Great Clips. I just went and got a haircut today.
Yeah.
And you get
I
finished
thought it
and
was
it's
fresh.
like $5, $7, or $10, and you're like, I mean, I feel bad not giving you a good tip because you're a nice lady and you went fast, but also it took you like 10 minutes to cut my hair, maybe 20.
Right.
And I'm supposed to give you like
$10 more.
a half. I'm supposed to give
I don't
you a
make that
half
much
hour.
money. Fucking
Yeah.
I don't make that much money an hour.
That's
I do the math.
I was gonna be like, I'm supposed to give you like a half an hour's more, like almost a half hour's worth of like wage
Right.
of my money.
Right. It
And
makes
like,
you go
no
like,
offense, lady, I work a lot fucking harder than you. You know,
like, it takes me 30 minutes to make the amount of money that you just made in 10.
yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
I know that there's some skill to your job, so I'm not trying to be like
Stingy
you
or
know,
shitty, but
yeah, stingy. I'm not saying I don't appreciate it, but also my haircut's easy. You
right.
use a trimmer on the side. You just have to blend the top with the side a little bit. It's not that hard. I know I could do it. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can't see my head.
Back to wings.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to run out of time because there's a few things I want to talk about. Do you have a Raising Cane's up there?
I do. Yeah.
And so, yeah, on the spots where you're going, is it Raising Cane's is all, there's no wings
Chicken
there,
strips.
right? Am I wrong?
It's all chicken strips.
Just strips. Okay. Yep. So
There you
go.
Here's my take on Raising Cane's. Their chicken strips are good. They only have their sauce, and their Texas toast is better than the toast at Slim Chickens.
Nice.
By a little bit. So if you really like toast and you're okay with one sauce, Raising Cane's is decent.
There's a cane
Also,
sauce and that's it. Just one sauce.
I think it's just cane sauce and that's it.
Okay.
Maybe they have a couple of other sauces, but it seems like it only comes with the cane sauce.
Okay.
And
That's fine.
also, I think, my personal opinion, I don't know if other people have had it like seasoned or my place doesn't put seasoning in the breading or whatever. The Cane's chicken strips don't have any flavor by themselves.
Oh, like you need the sauce to turn it up.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
key.
I am team Slim Chickens. I will not go to Raising Cane's. If somebody says, do you want chicken strips? I will say, where are you going? Because I'm not.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not against Raising Cane's.
Right.
If like that's my option. But
right.
I would take Slim Chickens every single day over Raising Cane's.
If it's next to a cane, or if there's a Cane's around. Yeah. So when it comes to wings, we've been talking about sauce. We're talking wet sauce, right? Like we're not talking dry rub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
I wasn't talking dry rub, but I've had some dry rubs and it's okay if I got ranch with it, but dry rubs by itself is like, this is white meat chicken. no, white meat chicken with the dry rub is just like, it's just too
It
dry,
just
dude.
doesn't. Yeah, it don't hit for me either. I'm not a big fan.
I mean, I suppose if you were like out there drinking and you really wanted a reason to like keep swigging your beer, like, then it'd be fine. But no, I'm not. The dry rub, I've had it before, but to me, it feels like you should do a dry rub and then sauce it up.
And then sauce.
Ooh, yeah, give me those layers.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
fine with that.
So
Totally.
yeah, and when we had our Super Bowl party,
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I didn't salt them enough. I didn't salt and peppered the wings.
Yeah.
Just cooked them, salt, pepper the wings, then we sauced them.
Yeah.
So where I messed up though. Okay, here's what we did. I wanted some just like crispy wings, light
Yeah.
breading, not like we were talking about with like the boneless wings, right? So I
Right.
used cornstarch.
Oh, yeah.
Just cornstarch, the moist out of the package wing.
Yep.
Straight into the cornstarch, deep fried that
Yeah.
shit. We actually
that's
deep fried, air fried, and oven cooked. But
That's like the Asian way to do it.
is it?
They do that in a lot of Asian cooking. Like if I make like beef and broccoli, they like you just put the beef in the cornstarch real quick before you like fry it up in the pan and stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We never done that with our beef and broccoli. That's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I did that because I just wanted that light, real crispy. Because that shit turned out super crispy.
Yeah.
Like flaky crispy.
Yeah.
It was dope. And it held up to the sauce toss because I was gonna get like a big bowl or something like that, or like I was just gonna put them in bowls and like mix them around. Or I didn't have a great plan for saucing. And my mom goes,
Sure.
"You need a bag?" And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Exactly what you were talking about with fucking Slim Chickens, dude. My mom's like, "Get a bag," and I was like, "We need 3 of them." And she goes, "Okay."
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So we fucking did it up, and we had a Buffalo Wild Wings sauce in the house that my niece wanted. She was like, "Awesome. We're having a wing party. We just got wing sauce." She was so hyped. And so she helped me make the wings. Like she helped me with the whole process. It was great.
Yep.
And she got her sauce, and it was the garlic parmesan, I believe, right? At Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep.
A good sauce. No heat, none of that. Just flavor.
That one doesn't have any heat anymore?
Mm-mm.
So we haven't been getting the garlic parmesan because like when you get the wings at
the spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the last time I had it was still kind of spicy where I was like, whoa, didn't see that coming.
Really? Garlic parmesan should not be, well, I mean, raw garlic is spicy as fuck, but in like a weird way, not in like a pepper way.
Right. Yeah. It's weird. It's like an onion, like where you just,
it's like an onion spicy. Well put. Yeah.
They're like the same family. So it's like that weird, like burn your eyeballs type spice. I don't know what it is.
How the fuck is this burning my eyeballs when it's in my throat? This is fucked up.
But yeah, no, I'll have to try it again because I've seen a lot of different stuff where they're like, put this on it and make that. And I'm like, well, that looks good, but it's spicy. Good to know that you had it and it didn't seem like it had any
that
heat.
garlic parmesan didn't have any bite. Now we made some real hot wings. Like we made a buffalo sauce, butter.
That was was that the B-Dub sauce?
It was, she literally pulled out. She's like, oh, we got this new sauce because we don't have a lot of Buffalo Wild Wings around here. Her family doesn't go out for wings. So she didn't even say we got a B-Dub sauce. She just said, we got a wing sauce and and I'm excited. And she pulls it out and it's a B-Dubs. And I'm like, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's dope. Since we brought it up too, I got to vent real quick about it. Like, is that not the stupidest marketing ploy too? You sell your own sauce and you go Stimpy on the sauce? Make me want more of that sauce, you dumb shits. What are you doing?
Brought it up with, like, as soon as you started saying that, I was like, I'm bringing this up. And I'm thinking the same fucking thing. Because we coded fuck out of those.
Yeah, because that's what they should do. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah, because I even let her do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like,
Nice.
you do it. It's your sauce. You take the bag, you pour the sauce,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna toss you some wings. And yeah, coated the fuck
Yeah.
out of them. And they were delicious. They were just covered in that sauce. And we did
Hell
traditional
yeah.
bone-in wings.
Nice.
And yeah, they were super good. And the breading held up to the shake. And we did, like, I had a really hot habanero maple that I did by myself.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, that was good. Because it was like, it was making me sweat, but it
Was
was
that hard to
sweet.
sauce up? Was it thicker than the other sauces?
Yeah, but
Was it hard to
it
coat?
wasn't hard to sauce up because I only did a
Not
couple
too bad.
wings. I
Okay.
only did a couple, so I kind of coated them and then I just did them in a bowl with a fork.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so that one was kind of cheated on a little bit, in a way.
One thing with my at home, I'll like sauce it up, and I sauce it in a bowl a lot of times, not in a bag, just because I like to do the toss. Like,
Yeah, if
that's
you got the
fun.
big
That's
bowl,
fun for
dude.
me.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
the fucking I can't even get it out because that is the way to do it, right? Like that's the chef way
Yeah.
to do it, and I love that you do that. I seriously, I love that you do that. Like, are they not teaching the people at Buffalo Wild Wings? Is that how they're doing it? Like, should they switch over? What's going on there? Because like
I
at a
think maybe
restaurant,
they.
that's the way you should be doing it. What's happening?
I think
Because you
maybe
can
they
get it
do
coated
it.
so good.
Yeah, I think maybe they do it where they have a bowl, they put the stuff in there, they go sauce, and they go like shoop shoop, and then put it on your plate.
They
Like
don't
two
give it.
tosses is not enough. Give it some time. You gotta shoop 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 shoop. I'll toss it this way a couple of times. I'll rotate the bowl like a quarter turn, and then I'll flip it again, and then I'll
Oh,
rotate it and flip
damn.
it again. Yeah, I don't stop until I'll look at it too, and I'll just be like, I see a dry spot. I keep flipping. Like,
Yeah.
but I like to flip this stuff, so I keep going. But the reason that I brought up was like, was it hard to sauce? Is because I've noticed with the thick sauces, they
Mhm.
want to hold on to the chicken when you're trying to flip it, like they don't move. You know,
Oh,
you're trying to flip it out of
right.
the bowl, and it's just like not going anywhere because the sauce is too thick.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I actually did a ginger teriyaki, and
Ooh, that
we
sounds
only
good
got
too.
the 4 wings, even in the bag. We got the
Yeah.
4 original wings, and then it seized up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It covered the fuck out of them, and they
Yeah.
like it. The wings were good. So I
Yeah.
love me a good like sweet chicken sauce. Like usually when I go out, I'll get something hot, like the habanero
Yeah.
maple, we'll say in this case. Like I'll get a hot one and then I'll get a
Yeah.
sweet one.
Hell
I
yeah,
love doing
dude.
that, like getting the 2
Totally.
combo.
You know what you gotta get at the Slim Chickens? They got a honey sriracha.
Ooh.
It's
Ooh.
nice stuff. Yeah, but they got a couple of different. I haven't had all the sauces yet because I haven't been there enough.
Mhm.
And then some days I'll go there and I'm just not feeling adventurous. I'm like, give me those 2 I know I like
Ah.
before I go off
Right.
and do anything. But I like them all. The barbecue, and then they give you dipping sauces on the other side. You can get ranch. You can get like the cayenne ranch and stuff.
Oh,
I know I'm
shit.
talking up Slim Chickens, but I really enjoy Slim Chickens, man. I really like the way I like everything about it. I love that it's like a New Orleans feel when you go in there. They
Hell
got
yeah.
like the fast jazz playing, like
Nice.
you
Mhm.
know, and they're like, eat chicken, chicken. That's it. I got the sauce. It's all the chicken. Eat the chicken. Sauce chicken.
I'm dancing. I'm feeling that.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. So, anyways, yes. So, what, like, was it when you say seize up heavy on the honey, and then it like just got like real thick?
Yeah. So I
or-
actually used I used brown sugar as the sweetener in
Ooh,
the
brown sugar.
brown sugar. Yep. And yeah, so it was brown sugar, soy, garlic, and ginger, and heavy on the ginger. So it came out as a like teriyaki ginger, and
Yeah.
it covered the wings, and it got hard on the wings, but it didn't like candy the wings, but it candied when it was
Yeah.
in a bunch. Like once it cooled down in the bag, it basically turned to like a rock candy for lack. It didn't turn into a rock, but you know what I mean, right?
I get what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, did you just mix it all together? Like cold? Wonder if you would put a little bit of heat on it, if it would have like got the sugar to dissolve. I don't know for
no,
sure.
this
though.
was, it had been sitting on the heat and cooking down.
Oh,
And
you
we
did.
and we
Okay.
poured it in hot, threw in hot wings. We got the 4 wings out. Went to
I
put in
see.
2 more wings, and my wife goes, I think this bag's already stuck together. The
Oh,
putting the
yeah.
chicken in had sucked the heat out of the sauce.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
only
Okay.
enough for the bag, so
I
we only
get you.
got a few wings out of it.
I get you.
It was just like
Yeah.
once the heat got sucked out of it, it just turned
Yeah.
into candy.
But I'm with you on the getting one sweet, getting one savory too. Like if if you get like a garlic, or some of them are like some form of like a ranch or like a garlic or whatever. Sometimes that sounds good,
And
and then I'll get like a barbecue to like offset it. Sometimes I feel like I get nervous where I get 2 sauces that I've never had before. I'm like, you give me that garlic one, and then maybe like that was Asian Zing.
right.
I guess try Asian Zing. I don't know, man. Yeah, so it's like sometimes you get 2 of them, and like one's too salty, and you thought it was gonna be sweet, and you're like, damn it, dude, the other one's already salty.
I think that might be why I'm kind of afraid of the dry rubs.
I think so. Well,
because they're so like, it always seems like the 3 times I've got dry rub that they're like really salt heavy.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know if like they salt it before they put the sauce on it too. Sometimes at different places.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
yeah.
not Slim Chickens. I'm not trying to shit on them. I'm not saying there's a problem, but
It's
there's
gonna be
other
an ad for
places.
Slim Chickens.
There's other places where I do like. I just noticed that. Not noticed, but I wasn't thinking about it. You got fancy Pikachu glass, and I got fancy Ninja Turtles glass.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
But yeah, sometimes that over salty can kill it, and then you need to have that extra sauce. And then when they don't have that sauce,
Yep,
it'll just ruin it. You're like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Are you just trying to get me to drink more beer? Because I was here to just eat wings.
Right.
This
I came
is
here for the
dumb.
wings, damn it.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Do you know that your place is called Buffalo Wild Wings?
Right.
I ain't come here for Buffalo Wild beer. I'm having a beer with my wings.
Right.
Because duh.
Because
But
right.
But come on now.
It's the chicken and the beer that makes Luda keep rapping.
Yeah. That's what keeps us rapping.
Yeah.
Is the chicken and the beer, but I'm not getting it from Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay? Not unless you guys change your stuff. Hey, Buffalo Wild Wings. If you want to reach out to us and be like, what you guys are saying is not the case at all of our stores, I'll give you a full review of the one that I have here in St. Cloud, Minnesota, because maybe you have some good ones out there. I don't have one.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was saying before. It's like there's like we know that they're different, but like they're you got to then build a culture around getting them saucy if they're fucking saucy. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't get over it. If I get sauced up wings, if I order sauced up wings, they better be fucking sauced up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I love the business motto of having like 1 million screens.
Yeah.
And I've heard you guys being like, have your fantasy football draft party here. You know, you can set it up. You can do all this stuff. And you're like, that sounds really nice if your wings weren't dog shit. You know? But sorry, I'll host my draft place someplace else and get some decent food. Because I just haven't been impressed. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So when you're making wings, you do bone-in wings? Do you ever make?
I do boneless because I've never made boneless. I've bought like the frozen stuff and then like
just warm
throwing them in the air fryer
and then throwing sauce on them.
Yeah, afterwards.
Your own sauce. Yeah, that's the move. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because the air fryer, dude, it's so nice. It makes everything so fast, and you just get home after a long day. You don't want to do shit. You just tear open a bag, shake some in a thing, close it, and hit a button.
Yeah,
and you just gotta wait until the timer goes off, or you can smell the chicken too. Because sometimes the doesn't like you set it and you're like, it seems like maybe it's a little bit too long. All of a sudden you're like, that smells like they're cooked. You can smell it. I can smell it. It's got to be almost done.
It's got to be done, right?
So you just pop those out and then toss them in some sauce and boom.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Toss
yeah, I
them in
like
your own
to
sauce. Hell yeah.
I like to do the bone in the air fryer. Gives them a nice crisp too. You ever make the bone in the air fryer?
Oh, so we did when we had our party here just during the big game. I still threw them in cornstarch though. And they were good. They were still good.
In the air fryer just with the cornstarch, do you spray any oil on them or anything?
No.
I might have to try that. Yeah. I've never done that
Worked
before.
out. I mean, we had I don't know what it was because my sister hooked it up and then my niece just brought it down and I put raw wing in it, but it looked like a coffee filter.
Oh,
just like a piece of wax paper or some shit down.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of that stuff where, it's like it just makes it easier cleaning and it doesn't stick to shit.
Yeah. Yep.
But
so it was that. It was just that. So there was nothing special.
Like, was it like a parchment paper coffee filter or was it like a silicone?
Oh no, it was like a parchment paper type thing.
Okay.
To me, it looked like a coffee filter, but I'm pretty sure
I think
some sort of special parchment cut for air fryers.
I think you can buy those on the internet. Yeah, it's just like
That's probably what it was.
Toss them in there, nothing sticks. Because then I've seen people use those to make. Because I've seen people be like, without those filters, be like, make mac and cheese in your air fryer. I'm like, what are you mental, dude? You make that's such a mess to clean up.
What a fucking mess!
You're crazy, dude. I'm not doing that. I've also heard people say that using like batter on fish doesn't work well in the air fryer because it makes a mess. But then I saw those like parchment pieces like that, and I was like, oh, I wonder if it'd be okay with that because then you don't have to worry about the mess that's contained in it all. Nothing sticks. Because a batter, I do like a batter on a fish, but a batter in an air fryer, I've been told didn't work well. But that's only from one guy, and I've never tried it myself. So
interesting. We did not try that. Okay. I'm not going to get into it now. We're going to wrap this topic up, but I'm going to say this. It depends on my mood if I'm going traditional or regular.
Yep.
But no matter what, they got to be saucy. I think we're on the same page, dude.
Yep. What do you like, flats or the drumettes or whatever you want to call them?
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. One thing. I'm so glad you brought that up. I actually do not care. I have more enjoyment from a food perspective on the little drumette things because they have a big bite on them. But I like crab and I like crawfish and stuff like that, and I like working the bone to get the meat. So I quite enjoy both, but the bite on the drummy is so much better. You get that big.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say. I was always a drummy guy until I learned a couple of tricks on the flats.
Fuck yes. I was hoping you were going to say this because
I'll eat those. Yeah, I eat those drummies kind of round, but I forget which side it is on the flat. But the flat has like one side has like cartilage and stuff.
Yep.
And the other side has like the two bones just meat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the one side, it's not as bad.
Yep.
Maybe they have it on both sides a little bit, but
one side's way less
on the other. So the one side with the bigger amount of cartilage or whatever.
Yep.
I take it and just pull that side off, just rip that chunk off.
Yeah.
And then put the chunk side that I ripped off in the mouth.
Yes.
And then you can just bite.
You can do it.
And then two bones come out and it's clean.
Oh, you can do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah. You just get that whole thing. I do like when you got like the drumette, it feels like you're talking about like one big bite and it is a big bite. And then you get that big bite.
Yep.
And then you can have like another bite, but now how I eat the flats is like that wing is one bite.
Yeah.
It's a good bite.
And a good bite too.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do that. That is the one thing I wanted to ask you if you knew how to eat the flats. Right.
Yeah. Yep. I know some people do it and they like just put it in their mouth and they pull it out like, oh, that was nothing. It's like, there's still like a little piece of cartilage in there or whatever. I've never been able to do it where I just grab a wing, put it in my mouth, and like there's nothing.
Right.
So I just tear that big side off and then pull the other side.
Some people chew through that cartilage.
I know, dude.
Fuck that. I eat it if I get it while I'm eating the wing. Just if it naturally just comes in, but I can't chew it.
Some of the different cultures, they're just raised that way where they actually kind of like that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like chicken feet. Dude, that's like cartilage and bone and shit. And they
like
just munch on them. Huh?
I like chicken feet.
Do you with the bone? You just like eating the bones?
Nah. But that's the thing is I eat it. I eat the chicken feet parts. Like it's still a fucking chicken foot when I'm done with it. Because I eat it down to the bone. I don't know how to clean it off. I just nibble. It's like eating crab legs or crawdads or something. It's that little nibbles of meat just in there right on the bone. You just eat it down.
See, like the people, I knew a couple of people that were Laos or Laotian.
Yep.
And they just like trim the nails, cook the whole thing, and then they bite the whole toe off. They like the crunch of the bones. I was like, damn, dude, what?
My Laotian buddy doesn't. Maybe he does.
I don't know.
He didn't tell me that he does because he was giving me tips on I was like, I got a pound and a half of chicken feet, and he was giving me tips and stuff, but I don't remember him saying that.
The one dude I knew, him and his brother, I didn't see his brother eat them, but him and his brother like cooked them up, and he was eating them. And I was just like, damn. You eat the bones and all? He's like, I like the crunch. Like, that's nuts, dude. I'm not eating no bones.
Yeah, nah, I couldn't do it. I can't do that because like I've had,
and I've never tried it though. I don't know. Is the the foot bones like with being a bird? Maybe it's like airier and they're hollow and I don't know.
I can tell you my experience was that it's still too much for me. Like they allow salmon bones in like the canned salmon, and I can't do that either.
I don't want anything to do with a fish bone, dude. That's no.
So I don't know. I didn't find that that the chicken feet bones were airy and light, but I did do them up kind of like chicken wings. Like I grilled them, put sauce on them, tossed them. Like, I pretty much treated those chicken feet like chicken wings.
Well, I have to try it sometime then, because I've never had a chicken foot. Like because I was always like, I don't want to eat the bones, so I never even tried that.
Sure.
But it doesn't look like there's anything else on them. But if you're saying you clean them, besides the bones, I'm like, shit, I guess I didn't realize there was anything besides the bones to eat.
Right. It's weird. It's really wild. There's a pad on their foot, almost like a dog's foot. Anyways, yeah. How about we'll talk about that off air. Let's wrap it up. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Hit us up on all the social medias. If you look us up, it's at Real AFTV, real like fish and reel. Even at youtube.com/@RealAFTV. You can leave reviews on a lot of platforms now. Please go check it out. Leave a review. That helps out a lot. We're trying to trick this algorithm into helping us out, grow this thing a little bit. So if you can help us out, interacting, thumbs up, all that stuff, doing the things that you always hear about on these podcasts and internet stuffs and all that shit like that. What am I missing, Tim? Oh shit, the Patreon. Every time I remembered this time because every time I miss it, and you back me up. Patreon.com/@RealAFTV. What else we got, Tim?
Man, that's it.
That's it.
Yes. If you're trying to look and reach out to us and tell us, I have a really good Buffalo Wild Wings, just do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Leave it in the comments.
Try.
We would love to hear it.
I go on road trips sometimes if you like.
Yeah.